Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're coming in from. Welcome to Social Media Day. I'm Scott Kramer. I'm going to be your host today. We're so excited to be here with you all. We have a jam-packed day of amazing speakers and amazing content for you. Thank you for playing that game at the beginning and telling us where you're all coming in from. So fun to watch, isn't it? We've got more of those activities throughout the day. So please bear with us. You'll be able to go in on the AHA and participate. Social Media Day is a program that we've built alongside for the Direct Selling Association, the DSA. So first and foremost, I'd like to bring up a good friend and our wonderful leader from the Direct Selling Association for Social Media Day. Please welcome Melissa Brunton.
Scott, you're so right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where they're joining us from, right?
Over.
I love it. I had to get my glasses out to read them all as it got smaller and smaller.
Yeah, right.
What a great group of participants we're going to have today. So I am just thrilled to welcome you all to the Direct Selling Association Social Media Day. We've had such a fun time putting this program together. And I know there's going to be so many key takeaways, regardless of where you're at with your social media journey, right?
Absolutely. And just so everybody knows how this rolls is this event is being offered to a lot of direct selling member companies, organizations, and each one have their own area to watch and participate and play. So that's why you see this the way it is. So we're working with a lot of different people, a lot of different organizations to bring you this incredible day.
Yes. And
let's take a look at where everyone's coming in from. Can we, let's look at the results. Oh my gosh, I need my glasses. Wow, I said Germany.
Wow. Look at that.
Good job, everybody. We've got Toronto, we've got Baltimore, we've got
Delaware, Germany. What?
Yeah, Ohio, Alberta, South Carolina, Splendora, Texas is in the house. Well, welcome, everybody. It's great to have you here. We've got a big day and a big lineup of amazing speakers. Melissa, this one we programmed kind of uniquely different because what we're seeing is what we're learning in this world within our realm of direct selling and what we do with these organizations is the power of people, our superpower being people buy from people. So we're going to lean heavily. We've really curated some amazing, best-selling author, world-class speakers to talk about more of the people side, the personal side of social media, because it's so powerful and so effective. So you're going to see a really unique perspective today and some speakers we've never had before. And there's some really amazing ones in the lineup.
Absolutely. And I encourage all of you, if you haven't already, get your pens and your notebooks out, because there's going to be lots of notes and lots of really good takeaways for all of us today.
Yeah. Well, let's get this party started.
Sounds good, Scott.
All right. Thanks, Melissa. Thanks. All right. So let's kick things off. We're going to kick things off with a speaker that I now can call a very good friend. In fact, I've recently just returned from Australia, where she's coming in from. She always, in the past 3 social media days, she has been the favorite in our post polls. She is traveling the US, speaking at a lot of conventions. Her group, along with her husband and beautiful children, all participate. She is so authentic, so wonderful. I'm really excited to bring our first speaker up today. Please welcome and take a look at her sizzle, Sam Hind.
Well, hello, everybody. And hello, of course, from Australia. We are joining you today from down under. It is 2:08 a.m. So I'm definitely one of the good mornings for all of you. But I'm so excited to be joining you guys today to talk to you about some of the Facebook secrets of 2024 and some of the top strategies to help you be successful right now. Sound good? Well, as we go through this, and I'm going to get some slides going here for you guys, I want to share how you can easily and confidently use social media to grow your business and convert with no experience necessary. Now, I want to be really clear about that little subclause here. We often think that in order to be successful on social media, we need to be more technical. But you know what? There's less technicality needed these days and more human. And I love what Scott just said. This is about being more human and connecting with people in a way that we all already know how to do. So, how are we going to use social media to do that effectively? Now, for those of you that I have not had the honor and pleasure of meeting yet, by really quick introduction, I actually grew up alone with my dad in a small country town in South Australia, and I actually started my very first direct selling business at the very young age of 14. I've been in this industry, like many of you have, for many, many years. Now, by the time I was 16 years old, through networking, connecting, building relationships, I was one of the top 10 consultants in the country in the company that I was with. I had an income that had surpassed that of my dad's. And I was already being invited to speak at events, helping other business owners to network and to connect. Now, I want to help you guys do this. And we get to do this every single day by traveling the globe and teaching people how to use strategies to grow their businesses. We work with direct selling companies exclusively because how you do social media is very unique and very different to many other countries around the world. So, I'm also going to be sharing with you today some of the top 5 posting strategies recently released by Facebook. Now, I'm just going to check something here. Are we all good? I can just see that we're having a couple little technical issues. So maybe if the guys can tell me in the chat if we're all good. I just want to make sure that you can hear and see me okay. But just I'll keep going and hopefully we're all good here. But I do want to share with you guys that it is all completely possible for you to be super successful on social media. I actually did a little demonstration. I've just popped it up on the screen here of one of the post strategies I'm going to share with you today. I did this for our students a few weeks ago. I created this post in literally 2 minutes. It was super easy to do. And cool, I'll just stop sharing here and hopefully that fixes the problem, guys. So I popped this post up. It took literally 2 minutes for me to create. We put it up on our main page while we were live with our students. And essentially, this post here got us over 180 leads, qualified leads for our business within literally 24 hours. I think it'll pop up on the screen here in a sec. You'll be able to see. I think it was the next slide here. Sorry, we've got the amazing team behind the scenes here managing my slides for me because we're having a few little tiny glitches. I love it when you've got an amazing team on it. So this post, as you'll be able to see in just a moment, reached over 42,000 people, guys, in a few days. This was free. We paid nothing to do it. It was using a super simple strategy that I'm going to share with you a little bit later on. And it can be done with no technical training ability whatsoever. Because the secret is that we actually need to be more human and less technical. And I love that because I think all of us are perfectly capable of doing that right now, right? Okay, so you too can build a highly converting audience that like, knows, and trusts you. And most importantly, that you love to serve. But just on this, I want to just put a little disclaimer out there. That is that, guys, there is no one way to do social media. I've talked about this before, and I want to quickly talk about the recipe analogy, which is, did you want me to put the slides back up? Okay, all right. We're going to chuck our slides back up here. Sorry, guys. Thank you for being patient with us. Let's pop these back up here. Hopefully we're all good. All right. There we go. So one formula, many recipes. Here's the thing. There's one formula to being successful on social media. You're going to hear lots of people talking about this formula today, a formula to be successful, but there are many ways to apply that formula, just like a cake recipe. So think about it. If you bake a cake, you know that there's a formula to baking a cake well. You need a binding component, you need a flour component, a sweetening component, a flavoring component. But what those components are can differ. You might use a different flavoring, a different sweetener, a different binder. But the thing about it is, it has to come back to a few key important things for you to decide what ingredients you're going to include in your social media recipe. One of those is, of course, you need to know what your skill set is. You're not going to go making some really complicated cake that's way beyond your skill set. You're going to start with something that you know how to do and build up to that complicated cake if that's what you want to do. The other thing is you need to know who you're serving that cake to. Who is your content going to? What do they want to see? What interests them? Now, you're going to hear people talking about this, I have no doubt today. This is one of the most important keys to being successful on social media. What are you delivering to the right person? And then last but not least, of course, when you make that cake and you hand it to the person who's going to be eating it, you're going to listen to what they tell you. And they might say, you know what, that cake was just way too sweet. But does that mean that you now remove the sugar component? Let's use Facebook Lives as an example here. Who's ever done a Facebook Live and gone, well, that was my first live. It was super uncomfortable. It didn't go well. I don't feel like I want to do that again. That's like completely omitting the sugar from your cake. You know it's going to be an important ingredient, but maybe you can adjust the content or practice or the length. So you got to think about how we're going to adjust our recipe. Now, as you do that, we also need to look, of course, at what's happening with the platforms. And today I want to talk to you about some of the updates and things that you want to be aware of that are going on right now with Meta. Remembering that Meta is the overarching company that owns and runs Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, a number of other platforms. So if you're talking about Facebook and Instagram, or if we're talking about Meta, we're referring to Facebook and Instagram. First update is this, though. It doesn't work anymore. Yes, I did just say that. And some of you right now are going, what is she on about? Well, the bottom line is Facebook doesn't work anymore if you're still using it the same way you were 12 months ago and you haven't adapted. Why? Because the landscape has changed and we need to change along with that landscape. So one of the biggest changes, something I want to share with you in just a moment, I'm going to get the guys to pop a quick little video up for you on the screen here. But just before we do, I want to just quickly explain that this particular post is a really good example of what has changed. And that is, we don't know what's real anymore. You know, recently I saw this post. It was actually a much longer video. So if you get a little hooked, I know you will, and you'll be like, I want to watch the whole thing. Well, I'm only going to show you a few seconds in just a moment. But this appeared on a Facebook feed from a direct selling leader just a few weeks ago. And the debate underneath the post itself got really heated because people were adamant that they thought this was real. I'll tell you how I knew it wasn't in just a moment. Go ahead and roll the video, guys. And baby video. We'll give that one a go in just a sec. See if the guys can get that one up.
Pew, pew, pew.
Literally all day long, guys, right? But the bottom line here is what is actually real. Now, the second I saw this video, I knew this is AI. This is fake. This is not real. How did I know? because I have got an almost 10-month-old baby who is bigger than most of the babies in that video. She doesn't walk, and if she did, she definitely wouldn't walk straight down a catwalk without missing a step. So the question everyone's asking right now is, what is real? Which translates to, what can I trust? And remembering, of course, that people buy from those that they like, know, and trust. So what are some of the other reasons that Facebook doesn't work for people anymore? Well, broadcasting and selling is out. Posting links is out. We've talked about this before. In the last 18 months, we've seen a huge decrease in the reach of links, any post with a link in it. In fact, Facebook reported that last year, of 97% of all of the posts that were successful, that got seen by anybody, contained no links. So we've got hugely less potential reach when we put a link on, by the way, a business page and a group. So a lot of people going, oh, well, I'll just put links in my groups. Well, we're actually seeing even less reach from posts with links in groups. Doesn't mean you can't put links up, but it does mean that you have to be strategic about how you do it. We also have got this misconception that, well, if I'm not getting seen by people, I'll just post more and I'll get seen more. And that, of course, is also very incorrect. Fake is absolutely out, which we've just established. People want to know what's real. They want to know the real you. But last but not least, I don't think this one was ever actually in, but I really feel it necessary to bring up, uninvited connects and reach outs is also out. People want to build a relationship with you first. Now, another little concept I want to bring to the forefront here is that behaviors have changed online. And particularly when we see short form video, we've seen a huge shift in the way that people are using all of the platforms now. And as I explain this, I want you to think about it this way. How do you use the platforms now? You know, I have a little story I'll share with you in a moment, but when you go to a platform, when you go to Facebook or Instagram and you look at a reel, that in itself is probably a bit of a joke, right? Because who looks at just one reel? But you go to look at a reel and, 30 minutes later, you pull yourself out of the rabbit hole and you realize you just wasted 30 minutes you're never going to get back. How many of those reels did you click on or interact with? I'm going to hazard a guess, very few, if any at all. So ask another question of yourself. Does that mean that just because I'm not interacting with these posts that it means they're not getting my attention and they're not memorable for me? That's also not true. We know that they're getting interaction and we know that they're memorable. We know that they're memorable and they're sticking in people's minds, but they're just not getting the same interaction. I used the analogy last social media day where I spoke a little bit to you guys about the animals in the forest analogy, which is a reminder that just because people aren't interacting doesn't mean they're not watching. One of the things that we do a lot is challenges. We love to challenge our students and get them to apply small strategies a day at a time. And a couple of years ago, we were running one of these challenges right as we were seeing these shifts with short form video happening. And we had a beautiful woman called Wendy who joined one of these challenges. Now, Wendy was one of those people who likes to blame the world for things not going her way. Now, I love her. We still work with her now and she laughs about this. But we were doing a 14-day challenge. And for the first, 1, 5, 7 days, she was complaining that this isn't working. I'm not getting any interaction because she was relying on the interaction to tell her that she was getting eyeballs on her posts. But in actual fact, it had nothing to do with it. So Wendy was complaining in the group every day, it's not working, it's not working, it's not working. And eventually we get to day 10 and the team were hoping desperately that Wendy would get a result. And we get a private email, an apology and an explanation. Wendy said that she went to work that morning. She worked in a hospital and one of the staff that she works with directly came up to her and said, hey, I have been watching you for the last week or so on social media and I love what you're doing and I love those products. Can I get a catalog from you? I'd like to make a purchase. She said later the same day, she had another staff member come up to her who she didn't even know was watching her on Facebook, who she didn't converse with very often, who said to her, I've been watching you promoting about your business on social media, sharing your journey. That was the key. And she said, I've been thinking about getting a side hustle. I've been looking at getting a little bit of extra money in my back pocket. Can you tell me, do you think this would be good for me too? And by the end of the day, she hadn't had a single interaction on Facebook, but from Facebook, she'd had several people sign up with her. She'd had several orders come in. And of course, this all comes back to that one key thing, which is just because they're not interacting doesn't mean they're not watching. So usage behavior has changed. Here are some of the things that Facebook has reported over the last quarter have shifted. First, users are currently spending 50% of their time on average on video. That's actually a decrease. Really important to note, because I'm going to tell you what one of the most popular types of posts are in just a moment. Most videos are also currently being viewed without sound. We already kind of knew that, but 85% of them, which is a lot. Vertical video, however, with audio is getting the most engagement. And dark shares are up by over 50% on last quarter. What's a dark share? Well, it sounds really sinister, but a dark share is simply where somebody sees a piece of content they like, a reel or a post, and they share it via Messenger, which isn't tracked and isn't measured in the same way as other posts. So what this means is you could be getting a whole lot more reach you don't even know about. Now, last but not least, stories, which get the highest real estate, the best real estate on social media, are still outperforming many of the post types because it's the first thing people see. Reels and stories together. So we're now seeing over 500 million people using stories every single day. But if you're wondering if Facebook is still a platform that I should be using, keep in mind, more than 3 billion people are currently using the Meta apps, that's Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, etc., on a daily basis. That's 2.1 billion of them are using Facebook alone, which is a quarter of the world's population on the Facebook platform, waiting for you to show up. 3 billion monthly users, with 72.6% of people currently using Messenger to communicate with family and friends, and 1 in 3 Americans using Facebook as their main place to access the news. So if I haven't convinced you yet that you still got a captive audience on this platform, I want you to remember they're there, they're waiting. The question is, how do you get their attention? Now, I'm going to remind you, the posts that we've been, that I showed you before, the post strategies that I'm going to show you in a moment, don't need to have any money spent. In fact, I would encourage you not to ever pay for a Facebook ad unless you've had some key training in this space and it's the right move for you. But you can get amazing reach, amazing engagement quickly from putting the right content out there. Now, I know Scott's probably going to talk a little bit about unconnected distribution later. It's another statistic that's important to understand. And that is that in the last 18 months, Mark Zuckerberg has been putting content out there to reward the content creator. Now, what he said is we don't want people to simply be rewarded for showing up and producing content that people don't want to see. So instead, what we're going to do is change it up. And you might have noticed in the last 18 months, you're seeing a lot more content from people you don't know, from pages you don't follow, from groups that you've never been a member of. Well, this is what we call unconnected distribution. And 26%, actually to be exact, 26.7% in the first quarter of this year of all content on Meta was delivered to unconnected sources, which means people that they didn't know, pages that they didn't follow. So this is a great opportunity, guys. You know, some people go, oh, this is really confusing. What does this actually mean? Well, guys, make the most of unconnected distribution, because at the end of the day, this comes back to reaching people you've never been able to reach before. It means when you put good quality content out there, you are going to reach more people than you've ever been able to reach. People that you don't even have to pay Facebook to show you to. But it also goes without saying, if you're not producing good quality content, you're also going to see even less people than you were before. So know who you're speaking to. The platforms know who you're speaking to. That algorithm that we talk about a lot knows exactly who you're speaking to. And it's looking for content that's going to keep people on the platform. So you also need to be super clear about who this person is. I'm going to give you guys a little hint here. These are my 2 golden questions we tell people to use when they're creating content for social media. Ask yourself this: what keeps my audience up at night? Meaning, what problems in life do they want to solve? What bothers them and what frustrates them? and what gets them up in the morning. What conversations do they want to be having? What do they value? What do they care about? These are the questions you need to answer, and then curate content that's going to answer these two questions. And again, it's actually not all that complicated, because guess what? It's common sense. You already know who your audience is. You already know how to human. You know how to show up on the platform in a way that's going to get their attention, because you do it every day when you talk to people face to face. So know who you're speaking to and be you. That's the key. I want to share with you guys, though, the 7-11-4 rule. This has actually come from Google. Now, Google are one of the biggest researchers in the world, and they did some research fairly recently on what are the patterns that we're discovering that people what are the behaviors of people before they make a purchasing decision. And what they discovered was that people needed to have 7 hours of interaction with a brand or an individual over 11 separate touch points through 4 different locations. Now, before you go, that sounds like an awful lot. It's actually not that much when you think about it. Here's why. First of all, the average person spends over 3 hours per day on social media. So how much of that time are they giving to you? But second of all, a touch point is simply a time that someone comes across you. So a touch point could be, I had a conversation with you today. Another one could be, I saw a post from you on Facebook. I saw a story. Another touch point. I got an email from you, or a text, or a messenger inbox. Every time someone comes across you and your brand, that's another touch point. And this comes back to dating people. Okay, now I mean this, of course, in the most appropriate of ways, but we talk about the dating and marriage analogy when it comes to social media and growing our business, because you wouldn't, if you were looking for a new husband or wife, you wouldn't walk into a bar and ask the first person, I hope to marry you. You know that you need to go through a bit of a dating process and earn their trust. Otherwise, you're possibly going to be a little unsuccessful in that endeavor. And it's the same when it comes to growing your business. If you jump straight from, hi, how are you, to, will you marry me, which is, will you buy from me, people are less likely to say yes. So we need to stop and think about, how do we show up and date, build a relationship with our audience using these platforms? Now, this could be as simple as a combination looking something like this, maybe 5 posts a week on Facebook, maybe 2 to 3 group posts interacting with your community, 3 personal daily reach outs per day, maybe 3 to 5 stories. By the way, these things don't take a lot of time. How much time do you think this might take to do? What if I told you it's about spending less time on social media and more time getting results and doing other things in your business that you are super skilled at? This can all be done with just 2 hours once a week or 30 minutes a day. In fact, we teach our students to do this process successfully in just 2 hours once a week and 15 minutes a day to get these results. Now, also, I know Scott's going to probably talk to you about some of the C's of Facebook a little bit later on. I'm going to throw one out there right now. We've seen a lot of disrupt when it comes to groups recently. You know, there's a lot of misunderstanding around, hey, are groups even going to be a thing on Facebook in the future? Let me tell you, Facebook groups are far from dead. In fact, community is currently king on the platforms. I highly recommend that you invest in community of some sort. Why? Because that is where the relationship build is at. And if you are strategic, you can build a highly converting, lead generating community on Facebook really quickly and really easily. So, just before I wrap up, I want to share with you guys the top 5 performing post strategies on Facebook right now. Would you love to hear those? I bet you would. Well, Facebook every quarter releases a report, and within that report, they like to share what are some of the top performing post strategies. What are they and where did they locate them? Now, we saw a number of very interesting patterns amongst these strategies. The first strategy was this one, nostalgia. This one was a very interesting one because when I analyzed this and had a look at the way people were using this particular post strategy, I noticed it was using an old school sales tool that anyone who's ever done any cold calling knows how to use and knows how important it is, and that is establishing commonality. Nostalgia could be things like flashbacks. I did a post using nostalgia recently with one of my kids. He'd found a cassette tape in a drawer and he was holding it up. And I put a post up asking, what are some of the things that for you were normal when you were a kid that your children now wouldn't recognize? And of course, that sort of post goes viral because it creates this feeling of we have something in common. It builds relationship without you needing to really do a lot of effort in building a relationship. The next one is little known facts and did you knows. This builds curiosity and intrigue, and it can also seed your product and your business really well. Humor and meme-based content, of course, is performing. It always does because it is entertainment, and we're dealing with an entertainment platform. The most interesting one of all, and I'll touch on this in a moment, is that story is back. Long form, in fact, is outperforming almost any other piece of content, which is a great big shock because just 12 months ago, Facebook was saying less text is better. Now they're saying share more. And how-tos, the value-driven post. I'm going to show you a couple of examples of these in just a moment. But just before I do, I want to quickly explain the story and why this is so important. And I want you to understand this. If you're thinking, I don't want to share my whole life story, or I've only got one or two, I want you to pause for a moment. When we talk about story, we're not talking about your life story. We're talking about micro stories much of the time, little things that happen, little experiences that you have. Stories have become social media catnip, and you have stories that happen to you every single day. Here's an example of one. I want to share with you this little picture up on the screen here. These are some really great friends of mine. This is Igor Van Gerwen and the two men responsible for finding and creating the world's rarest chocolate. Right there in that picture, they're actually sitting in front of the world's rarest cacao tree, which was in 1919 believed to be completely extinct. Now, Igor, at the front of this picture here, went trekking through the jungles in Peru looking for rare cocoa for him to bring back to Tasmania because he wanted to create unique chocolate. And he stumbled completely by accident across this plantation of trees. Now, in this plantation, the really interesting thing about it was these trees were located at over 1,200 feet above sea level. This nicknamed the chocolate that was created from it, the chocolate from the clouds, because these trees were positioned higher than any other cacao tree anywhere in the world. And it gave it an incredible, incredible flavor and color. So he convinced Don here in this picture to take care of these trees, these 25 trees, and ship the cacao pods to Tasmania, to Igor, where he would put them together and create what is considered today to be the world's rarest chocolate. Now, let me tell you, this chocolate is something spectacular. This chocolate is fruity, it's amazing, it's high cocoa content, but got absolutely no bitterness whatsoever to it. I travel out of my way, 45 minutes from where I live. I'm very lucky because people travel all over the world for this chocolate. I go 45 minutes out of my way to go and get a coffee and some of this chocolate every now and then, and it is absolutely unlike anything you've ever tasted. If you're a wine drinker, this is like the Grange Hermitage of chocolate, right? Question is, how many of you right now would absolutely love to get your hands on some of this chocolate? How many of you are thinking, oh my gosh, you're currently like searching, you're like, how do I find this? And you're thinking, how much is it? Where do I get it from? Can I get it shipped to me? Well, sadly, you can't, because Igor actually doesn't ship it anywhere in the world because he doesn't want it to lose its integrity. It's a very delicate chocolate as well. But the reason I'm telling you this story is because I didn't actually sell you this chocolate. What I did was I shared with you an experience, and that's the power of story selling. Now, I'm going to share with you 4 really quick Facebook posts just as I finish up here. These were Facebook posts that were demonstrated by Facebook when they shared the top performing post strategies of the first quarter of 2024. And each of these has got its own little story component involved, story or value. The first one here, I'll get the guys to play this little video. So simple. But this, because it includes the I'm in the subject here, is a micro story. So I'll see if the guys can get the video to play. I'm not sure if they've got that there. If they do, awesome. If not, I reckon you guys can probably put this one together. But essentially, this is using story, guys. Have we got it up? Can we get it to play? If not, we're good. All right, we'll move on. So here's the next one here, value-driven posts. This was another of the posts that Facebook reported was one of the top performing posts on Facebook in 2024. Why? Because it was interesting and it provided value, but it is so super simple. This one here is the long form story. And this particular story, this person will tell you they didn't take a lot of time to create. It was a pondering. It was simply a thought. And it was all about the let them theory and simply paired with a picture of her hand with she'd written on the side of her hand, let them. That's it. People care about getting to know you. And when you share you, suddenly that they feel this is real content. They're not asking the question, is this AI? They know it's you. The last example here, and sorry for those that aren't meat lovers, but this was another really simple example of the type of content that is outperforming any other right now. And it's the piece of content that is value-driven, but just everyday stuff. And this was a know what you're buying post, a picture of shop bought beef mince next to farm bought beef mince, and the person sharing their experience with this. Again, so incredibly simple. But I want to wrap up today because we've got so much that we could cover, and I know that we're out of time, but I want to give you a special little invitation. If you'd like to join me, I'd love to have you come and join me for a free session where I'm going to share with you my social media playbook and how to apply all of these strategies. But thank you so much for having me. It's been so great to be here, everybody. And we will, I know you guys are going to have an awesome rest of the session with everybody. We've got some incredible speakers coming up. Of course, make sure that you scan the QR code on the screen there. Join me, guys, for a session. I'll share with you some AI strategies and my social media playbook, and we'll see you guys very soon. Thanks, Scott. Sorry for the technical challenges. We've all got to have...
No worries. Let's talk for a few seconds. That was amazing. I apologize. There's some issues, I think, with the connection because you've had a bunch of storms and everything down there.
Yeah, so just to put this into context, we've actually been we went some parts of where we live here have gone 10 days, no power, no internet. So it's 2:40 in the morning here, and Greg last night was on our roof installing Starlink to try and get us internet so that we could join you today. So it's been crazy. We've got trees down. We've got flooding, literally 10 meters of flooding just below our office right here. So if I showed you, we've got like a lake outside. It's crazy.
I'm so sorry, but that's what we do. We roll on, and you still provided some amazing content. So,
yeah, we're still
we
here.
hear you just fine. I'd like to continue a couple minutes and just share some questions with you and get your view on things, and then some comments. Because, one thing you talked about was links. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really throwing everybody off. How do I sell if I can't put links in?
Yeah. I feel like so many of the things, I jammed so much in there, or there's so much more I wanted to jam in and just couldn't quite get it there. But one of the things I did want to mention with that is the fact that, look, guys, there are strategies where you can share links for sure. We still do it every day. It's just that you have to be strategic about it. The thing you've got to remember is that the platforms don't want you to share links because they don't want people to leave the platform. So when you put a link up, they are they're getting uncomfortable because we're taking people away from them. So you've got to think, how do I share a link in a way that's not going to trigger the algorithm to not show my content to people? And there's a couple of things. The first is you can absolutely put them in the comments with your posts, but I'm going to throw something out there. I believe that what you don't say leaves more for people to ask you. I shared that chocolate story, and I have no doubt if I could see a chat here, a lot of people would be asking, where do I buy it? How much is it? What's the link? What sort of chocolate is it? You've got more questions because I didn't tell you everything you needed to know. And so then sending links through private messenger is absolutely going to be your perfect way of doing it because you can customize it for that person. So you can do it. Just be aware if you put it in the post itself, your reach will be significantly reduced.
Yeah, I think it's a reality. Is Sam, is that now leading the way for why I think our audience wants to reconsider business pages to be the place that you drive people to get more information, to get the links, to see the catalog, to the selling type stuff?
Yeah.
keeping it in the social network. What are your thoughts about that? Because everybody has been, this year has been all about the fall of groups. And I know they're still super important, but they've changed so much in the last year or since April, if you may. What are your thoughts about that?
It's a funny one because you say that like people like reconsidering business pages. I've been harping on about business pages and never actually stopped. So I think people are starting to understand the trifecta. And the trifecta is profiles, pages, and groups all have a place, an important one, and work together and do important things. A group is your community. It's where you nurture that community, further build the relationship, and create what we call third party validation. And that's where people can share what they do, the products that they use, etc. And a group is a powerful place for that. Your profile is where you connect through sharing your story and your journey. It is absolutely not a place to actively sell and promote. But the thing you've got to keep in mind with a business page is it allows you to reach people you've never reached before because there's no barrier. People don't have to friend request you and they don't have to join a group to see your content. So Scott, if you, tell Melissa about this incredible product you tried, and that product, that company has got, or that person that sells that product has got a business page, Melissa can go check that out without having to friend request someone she doesn't know or join a group she doesn't know if she wants to be a part of yet. And so a business page gives you a place where you can actively sell should you want to. And I still believe that sharing journey is going to be, we talk about story selling. In all seriousness, stories sell so much more powerful. So I don't know if you can still see me. I think we've glitched again, but essentially business pages are powerful, profiles are powerful, groups are powerful, but they all have to be used the right way. I was like, is it me?
Yeah, right. It's so
I don't know where.
It's
so me. It's Tasmania. We only just got internet like yesterday here in Australia. So
no, it's all good. No worries. It's no worries. So you were talking about, here's what I say, just to finish this one off and put a button on this, is I talk about profiles, pages, and groups. And I say profiles is like inviting you into my living room. So I don't want to invite every potential customer in my living room. I want to build a big business. So I'm very protective of my profile for privacy issues and whatnot. Business pages is my storefront, is my open the door. It's public. Anyone can come in, including some creepers every now and then. Unfortunately, that's just the nature of social. And groups, it's my party. It's my community. Yeah. It's where everybody has a voice. It's where we're at the club. So that's how I separate the three out. Sam, thank you so much for being with us. There you are.
Oh, can you still hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
I was going to say just to that, Scott, if you are actively selling on your personal profile, and by selling, I mean like, here's my chocolate. This is how much it costs. This is all of the ingredients. This is the link to buy it. This is all the information. That's kind of like walking into a dinner party, pulling out the nearest chair and shouting to everyone in the room about your product and telling them that you want them to buy from you. You wouldn't do it there. Don't do it on your profile. But if you share your experience, share your journey, way more powerful. And that's the power of story selling.
And that's the power of people buy from people. So it's bringing in that personal stuff. So love it. Sam, thank you so much. We're going to put your QR code back up here. You guys get connected with Sam. Go get the playbook. Learn how to to implement your social media with this playbook. It's great. You and Greg and the whole team at Axano, amazing work you do for the industry. Thanks for being here once again. Thanks for again being always one of our favorites. And we will see you again very soon. Thank you, Sam.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
All right. All right, let's keep it going. Sorry for any of the technical details on that one. That's what you get when we're going down under. So since they had so many storms. But I got to tell you, we're going to keep this going. Rodney, do you want to do a quick break? If you want to do that, we can do that and get everybody a stand up. But you're going to want to come right back because we've got somebody, a new speaker. Well, she's not new to the industry. She's huge. Over 35 million followers combined. I'm going to give you a full blow on everything about our next speaker here in a minute. But why don't you stand up and stretch? We'll check back in 2 minutes. All right, so we're waiting for you to join. You're going to play along. We're going to ask some questions, and we're going to get this going. So here we go. Quiz question. We've got some players joining us right now. If you want to participate, use the QR code. Join at AHA Slides. There we go. We've got some people joining here. We're going to test your skills with this pop quiz. There we go. Everybody's coming in now. Let's have some fun and see what you know. Hi, Rakia. Hi, Landerston, Lauren, Tanya. Great. Here we go. Everybody's rolling in. Trying to keep this thing interactive, have some fun with y'all. So please join if you can. Use the QR code, and we'll do this, and then we'll get moving on to our next amazing speaker. All right, Carla's in the house. Rebecca's here. Let's start the quiz. You can still join. Let's play along. We got 6 questions. We'll move this along. What is the primary purpose of hashtags on social media? All right, here we go. To make posts look colorful, to categorize content and make it discoverable, to gain followers automatically, to tag specific users. All right, time's up. Good job. You guys got that one right. Let's roll to the next one. Okay. Oh, we got a leaderboard too. This is hilarious. Nigel, you are winning. Great. All right. Question number 2. This question rewards name 2 social media platforms ideal for sharing visual content. Go. Facebook and LinkedIn, Twitter and TikTok, Instagram and Pinterest, X and Reddit. You got 3 seconds to lock in your answer. 3 seconds. Time's up. All right. You guys are smart. You guys are smart. Look at that leaderboard going. Megan's ramping up to number 4 there. All right, let's go. Next one, 3. What does DM stand for in social media terms? Ready? Daily mention, direct message, digital marketing, data management. Go. You got 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. All right. Direct message. We got a smart crowd here, guys. Love seeing this. You guys know what's going on. Nigel is absolutely killing it. So number 4, here we go. What is a social media algorithm? I love this one. I think you guys are going to get this. A set of rules for deciding what content to display, a formula for posting the best content, a process for automating posts, a way to block unwanted users. That one was a little tougher, right? 42. Yep, you got it. All right, good job, you guys. Number 5 of 6, here we go. What's the difference between organic reach and paid reach? Organic versus paid? Another great question. Organic reach comes from ads and paid reach is free. Organic reach is through followers while paid reach comes from ads. Organic reach is always smaller than paid. Organic reach is based on location versus paid based on time. 3 seconds. Getting a little tougher, aren't we? I think you guys got this one. Organic reach is through followers while paid is different. All right, good job. Last question and then we'll get go. The last question we got here is, which social media platform has the highest user engagement rate and why? Wow. LinkedIn, because it's for professionals. Facebook, due to its wide user base. X, due to its trending topics. Instagram, because of its visual content and interactive features. Lock in your answers. Instagram, because of the visual content. Highest user engagements on Instagram. Facebook may be the biggest. Instagram seems to be the most engagement. Toby, in for the end. Good job, Toby. Congratulations. All right, that was fun, right? You guys got to see how you guys are smarts are out there. All right, so listen up. I'm going to introduce somebody. She's new to the social media stage, and this is a doozy. She's amazing. I'm going to put up my notes here. I got to just read you some facts. So I recently got to know this. Her name is Adley Kinsman. I'm sure you've probably heard of her. She's the CEO of Viralish. They have a combined 35 million followers. We call her the engine behind social media's most viewed content. So have you ever wondered how content goes viral? Have you seen some people in your organization produce a piece of content that's been seen by millions or has just gone viral and worked really well? And you've wondered, how do they do that? How do you get content to go viral? Well, she gets over 1 billion views a month on her content. She's a powerhouse. So I would like you to take a look. In fact, she's the most viewed female producer of content on Facebook and Snapchat. So she's the big one. She is amazing. You're going to have a blast with her. Take a look at her sizzle and please welcome Adley Kinsman.
Must close unless many of you know Adley.
She has over 1 billion views per month.
Second season of The Voice.
She's gone viral for some of the biggest brands on the internet.
And she didn't do it once, she's done it for years.
Going viral online. I've never been one to completely follow the system.
Who did you need to become to deal with this level of success?
I was waiting for a suit behind a desk to give me permission to be successful. A lot of people think that we only go viral because of our personality. It is a formula, not a personality. That is the difference in good creators and the best creators and their ability to hold systems.
What's going on, social media day? I'm really embarrassed right now because I just realized I'm wearing the same shirt that I was in about half of that sizzle reel. Please forgive me. I make arguably good videos, but I can't really dress myself. All right, let's jump into it. I'm so humbled and so honored to be here today to talk to you about two of my favorite subjects in the entire world. One, how to get attention on anything that you want. And two, proof of everything that God can do in a life and what happens when you are persistent and you stay in the game and you find a unique way to show up with your own authenticity and ability. We are in the greatest wave of free advertising that the world has ever seen. And I'm sure for many of you, it may seem really difficult to break through right now. You want to sell without selling, and you want to get the eyeballs on your mission, your message, your product or service. But that's good news. I hope that's your problem right now, because that's what I'm going to help you guys crack today. It is my favorite subject in the entire world. And I want it to be easy for you to make social media fun again. That's what we're going to do. We're going to make social media fun again. That was dangerous. So now I've talked to a lot of people in the direct selling community in the last couple of years. And one of the most shocking facts that I've learned was that many of the marketers I spoke with did not consider themselves to be content creators. And that was so interesting to me. It's not you guys. It's the others, for sure, the ones that aren't here. But let me tell you something, the two things that I know for certain. The first is that if you are in the business of getting clients, if you're in the business of getting more eyeballs on you, on your service, if you're in the business of connecting with other humans, you are a content creator. And the second thing I know to be true about all of you is that you are the type of person who gets stuff done. You're a self-starter. You're ambitious. You want a better life for yourself and for your family, and you put the work in. That is why you are in this industry that you're in, because you're betting on yourself. I used to be it myself too. After I was on The Voice, I'll get to that in a minute. It was a whole lifetime ago, but I had no money and I got into direct selling, and it helped me pull me out of a really difficult time, as well as selling insurance door to door. But I have so much respect for everybody on this call. I know what it takes. And so my heart is with you in trying to figure out how to crack social media. So given that I'm talking to a room full of content creators and hustlers, my goal here today is to give you 3 actionable tips, my best 3. I got a lot, but these are my best 3 actionable tips to get 5x the amount of reach that you're currently getting on your videos. So if that sounds good, type in your chat, let's go. If you're ready, I can't see it, but I want to get you in the right space to receive this, because this is my favorite thing to teach. And I'm sure you guys have experienced this in sales, right? Or in books that you've read, podcasts that you've listened to. Sometimes it just takes one light bulb, one nugget of information that you apply to totally unlock your creativity and how you show up. So I'm going to give you these actionable tools to kind of create a framework that can help create a more confident starting point. Like if you take these 3 tips as sort of your bedrock, then you're going to feel a little bit more confident going into creating content as a starting point for your creativity or a new baseline. So your creativity can be freed up to take it from there. Cool? Okay. So who the heck am I and why should you listen to anything that I say? First of all, you don't have to, but my name is Adley. I'm a prankster and an entertainer at heart. And that's how I started in this crazy business. But I realized something after I started getting really predictably good at this. And many of you that are top producers, you may resonate with this, that once you do it long enough for yourself and you get the money and you get the results, you calibrate. It doesn't take long, believe it or not, for that to become the new normal. And I believed and still do that our knowledge and know-how is only as good as the people that we pay it forward to, right? Like my therapist, she has the ability to change lives and she has so much impact. If she just like had all this knowledge and sailed off into the sunset with it, what good does that do anybody? All that accumulation. So I feel the same way about what I teach and what I do, learning how to get attention on anything that you want online. And it scratches a huge itch for me to be able, once I've kind of calibrated and I know how to do this for myself, that high wears off, right? So now the most fulfilling thing that I've ever done is pay this knowledge forward and teach other people how to do it, and or get to hand creators a massive check or see brands have a giant breakthrough. It's the most fun thing because selfishly, I get to relive that high over and over again through their eyes, through your eyes. And it's the best gift that we've ever been given. And I'm sure you guys feel the same way about the products that you spend your life promoting, because surely they helped you first. You all have a personal story of what these things have done for you. I have a personal story about what making content has done for me. And you want to, it's in our psychology and in our behavior. We're designed this way to share the gifts that we've been given. That is testimony. So how do we do it? And that's what this whole day is about, is how do we do it without being cringy and without selling people? So we do get over 1 billion organic impressions every single month on social media. We do make some of the internet's most viewed videos every single month. And we've done that for the last 4 years. And a lot of people are like, well, I'm not, you may have seen my face, you may not have, but you, by design, you would not know most of the videos that we're behind. Now, our job, my actual job, as I describe it, is to keep people on apps like Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok for a long period of time. So over these 4 years, we had to develop a scalable formula that runs parallel to every single major algorithm. We're not guessing anymore. We have it down to a science for greatly increasing our chances at bat for going viral with any type of content. Let me prove my point. I always hesitate to do this, but I'm gonna do it anyway. How many of you guys have ever watched a video, especially on Facebook, that wasted 3 minutes of your life? Everybody. Drop it in the chat. Everybody's watched a video and it hooked you and it compelled you to watch the whole thing and you hated it the whole time, but you watched it anyway. Why? I'll make an admission here that there's a 95% chance that that was created by myself, somebody I taught, or somebody in my crew. So please, first and foremost, don't log off. Just accept my apology. I'm going to redeem myself with you here today because I'm here to share everything that we learned with you. I did this self-sacrificing experiment of making really trash, cringy content for a while to learn the difference in what people say they want to watch versus what they actually pay attention to. There is a difference between what people say they want to watch and what they will actually pay attention to. And those billions and billions of views gave us insane amounts of knowledge in human psychology, sales psychology, whether I'm selling you a physical product or I'm selling you to stay and spend 3 minutes or 20 minutes watching something that you don't even want to watch. Viral video engineering is 100% a psychological game, as is sales. And think about it, with those cringe videos, we made videos across the spectrum, right? Some were really trash, and that was us really testing this formula. And some we're super, super proud of, right? But think about that. We psychologically coerced people, maybe many of you, into watching stuff you didn't even want to watch for years as an experiment. We had billions of eyeballs watching this trash content, and that is how powerful this formula is. So now imagine if you apply it to good videos. That was always my mission. Like, is this good that I can make the crappiest video of all time? And we did one day. I was like, if this works, I quit. Like, I lose my faith in humanity. Made the worst video. Data wouldn't say that, but I would say that. This video is so bad and pointless. It did 100 million views. I couldn't believe it. I posted it to another page. 100 million views again. I'm like, hot damn, this formula works. And now I proved what I set out to prove. And now I just want to take this and share it with the world. So we use this same formula, and we call it our billion view formula. We use the same thing. No matter if we're designing an ad for Land Rover, I'm staging a gender reveal fail, an amazing thing caught on Amazon camera, a Karen in a Target parking lot, or I'm selling stuff on TikTok Shop, or teaching our kids to sell stuff on TikTok Shop. I don't have kids. I call the people that work with us kids because they're younger than me. But let me go ahead and let's get into it. I'm going to share my screen. Present. All right. Got it. Got it. I have it teed up, and I'm still just this technologically challenged. All right. Got it. Let's go. Okay. Now, your goal from this day forward, I want you to write this down. Your goal from this day forward, this alone will transform your views, is to get 90% retention on your first 6 seconds. If you can get 90% retention on your first 6 seconds, your videos are going to be the top 1% of content creators on social media. Okay. Have you ever sat on a plane, especially just watched how fast people scroll? It's crazy. So you hear this, you know this, you have the head knowledge that the hook is the most important thing. What you do in the first 3 seconds, half a second, is the most important thing. But there's elements of those first 6 seconds. Like, we have 5 of them, and I need you to do at least 3 when we teach the formula, right? I don't have time to go into the whole formula today, so I'm just going to give you my main 3 things thoroughly. But you have to get 90% retention on this first 6 seconds. That's going to set you on a whole different path. So if you are designing content, that's all I want you to think about. So what are my tips for getting 90% retention? Missy Elliott, I want you to put your thing down, flip it, and reverse it. I want you to design your videos in reverse of what most people do. How do most people design their videos? They may say, I'm going to show you a video on how to save 30% on taxes, or I'm going to make a video trying to sell this coconut water. Okay. That's describing the payoff. You're describing the end of the video, because and most people on a great video, you're going to have less than 20% of people making it to the end. So they're not going to be around to see that 3-ingredient brownie recipe or see that amazing tax hack, because they didn't make it that far, because you didn't grab them and story tell them through the right way. So I want you to design your videos like this. I want you to describe the opening shot. If somebody says to me, and this is how I have people pitch content to me at Viralish. They're going to pitch me an idea. They say, I'm in a Target aisle. I'm in an aisle at Target, and I take eggs off the shelf and Quaker Oats, and I've got the Quaker Oats here, and it's me cracking an egg in the middle of Target into the jar of Quaker Oats. That's my first 3 seconds. And I would say, okay, I would still be watching. What's your next 3 seconds, or what's your next 6 seconds? And they would describe the next beat. Maybe they take peanut butter. They're describing how to make no-bake cookies, but they started really wide, and then they funneled me into teaching me this 3-ingredient no-bake cookie recipe, right? Does that make sense? So we're going to start by describing the video in the way that a viewer is going to experience it. Start frame by frame from the top, with your theme. You already know your theme that's going to be at the end. But if you niche yourself out up top, I'm gone. Most of us are gone because the world is a very big place. And I want you to have that 90% retention on your first 6 seconds and hook me with curiosity of what is she doing? You'll notice that with every single one of our videos, there is a curiosity gap. And so you'll see that in verbal hooks and text hooks and visual hooks. If you're great, you've got all 3 in there. And I want you to start, as of today, designing your videos in reverse. Now, one of the most effective ways that we do that is with something called the combo method, which is why I have I think a Big Mac up there. It's a combo. Okay. So our combo method is you're going to combine 2 things that don't normally belong together. My husband, he's Blake.Kinsman on TikTok. You can see his views, astronomical. What is he doing in every single shot? He's combining 2 things that don't belong together. He's drilling through a restoration hardware chair. He's usually drilling through something, actually. He's breaking a TV. He's putting steak in a toaster. I'm putting a rack of ribs on the top of my car engine, right? 2 things that don't normally belong together. And I'm going to show you an example of that right here. I actually posted this on my Instagram. We have to design a video using pregnancy test for. So watch me already using in these first 4 seconds, using the hook that has a curiosity gap. I've gamified myself and my expertise to say, I'm going to design a video using this prop. And I drew a pregnancy test, which people have an emotion attached to. And then with this, well, whatever niche I show here could make people decide that they don't care, right? So I'm going to censor it to pull you in, to draw you in a little bit. Now I've got your curiosity, and you're going to keep watching this video to see what I'm doing as I start explaining what I'm doing. So I wanted to break that down, but let's watch the rest of the video. I got it. Do you have a hammer? So if I was going to make a video for I would probably start it doing something like this. Now I'm taking something that people associate with happiness and I'm destroying it in order to stop the scroll, grab attention, immediately spark an emotion, and installing a curiosity gap to keep that emotion in the forefront of their minds. Next, I'll do something intentional, like setting this aside to anchor something that will make sense later as a retention tactic. Next, I'll take the blue pieces here and drop them in something useful to me, but doesn't add up yet to the viewer. I obviously don't have the materials or know-how for this niche, so I found some videos online. I would show how I've molded these items into a gold setting and memorialized one of the most important moments in someone's life into a beautiful keepsake. Because if 99% of us are just mindlessly scrolling Instagram and you come across a girl trying to promote her small jewelry business, you're probably not going to care. I'm probably not going to care. But with this model, you see that way more of us are willing to watch this video and slowly be psychologically funneled into an emotional connection with this jewelry company that we never would have been open to learning about or discovering otherwise. So that's maybe one of the ways that I would market a small jewelry company on Etsy using the billion view formula. I have to. All right. So I hope that made sense, because as we're in the business of selling things, like, of course, do I want everybody to buy my billion view formula? For sure. If I talk about it all the damn time, I'm going to annoy everybody, and I'm not going to compel to their emotions and their curiosity and actually the pain of what the problems that this could actually solve for them, right? I'm going to show you some more examples of why we want to go wide. Let me do my slides in reverse. I want you to cast a wide net, right? And I'm going to show you these examples over here. I'm going to explain them, and then in your first 3 seconds, drop them in, maintain that curiosity gap. And then you're going to funnel them into what you actually want to teach them. In my case, viral organic marketing. This is one of my one-on-one clients. His name's Brian Mark, at The Real Brian Mark. And what he does currently is he's great online. He's done over $20 million in sales in his DMs. He's doing great. And he is a great content creator. So when he came to me, he wants the best in coaching and he wants to expand his boundaries, right? So let's take him from an average of 20 to 40,000 views a video, and let's get him views like this, right? So this is another guy in our coaching program. He was brand new with us. His name's Eric. He did 117 million views on this video that we told him to do. So say whatever product you're trying to sell, even just look at this contextual framework. And I'm going to use this example of how to tie in like personal storyline, but look how shallow this even is. Grandpa taught me this. It's a wide, universal concept of how to tie a tie, right? And so I know that I'm going to learn something, and I know that it doesn't seem salesy, it seems for real. And he just shows this really interesting way to tie a tie. Notice that it follows the hook with a curiosity gap, suspense, and then a payoff. You're not going to realize how to tie this tie until the very end. But say before he showed the payoff, he went and showed putting that on his grandpa, lighting a candle or giving him his product. Like there's ways to do viral style concepts that still can integrate whatever your product is. And maybe go find this video, like viral tie hack or something like that. And you're going to be able to see, if you follow this formula, ways to integrate your product prior to finishing tying the tie. This one, feel free to steal all these concepts. But Brian just had a $1 million month. So this is revealing to my wife how much money we made this month. And so I also want to show another side of him. He's very funny. Him and his wife are amazing together. And all he's doing right now, or before we started working together, was just like authoritatively talking to the camera. Do this, how to book more sales calls, and doing this really authoritative style. But he's so dimensional that I wanted to show and build trust with showing these other sides of his personality, because he's already got that on lock. So how can we expand his boundaries? So we gamified it a little bit, and notice the theme here that we are entertaining in these things in order to educate. We're casting a really wide net. He's an online business coach for fitness trainers. Pretty niche. Not a lot of guys doing fitness online that need or desire or know that they need a business coach, right? So it's pretty niche, but look at these views. If he just started about fitness coaching and business coaching and gyms right off the bat, most of us would scroll, right? But he stays wide at the top. And then by the end of this video, you're like, I got to buy from that jewelry company. Holy crap, this guy's amazing. I'm inspired. He shifted my mindset, right? But you funnel them into feeling that at the end. So, and throughout, but right off the bat, notice the hook and curiosity gap here. We have how much money he made that month. And now she's doing this can challenge of trying to line them up. So she'll move these numbers around and he'll be like, you have 3 correct. And there's a trend that we're playing off, but we're switching it for our industry. So line up your product line, right? Whatever your product line is, have some down here on the bottom and have the same products up here on top in different orders, and people are trying to match them. Talk about retention and gamifying these products, and you can have whoever's back here speaking the messaging points of the product, like, oh, this is my beet liver pills. I forgot to take these today, so I'm so bloated, right? So now you just kind of naturally told me what that product does and sold it to me subconsciously while I'm learning to trust you. And you can tie in how much money you make by doing this thing into this also. So there's ways to get your messaging points across, to earn trust, to have your own little mini reality show here, and edify the fact that you know what the heck you're doing because you're making money. And if you're not making money yet, make this your goal number. How much I'm fail in public, like publicly document this process of you doing this. That vulnerability is going to entice people in too, if you're open to it. Revealing to my husband what my goal is for this month. That was a stupid sentence, but we'll make it better. You understand my point. But you could take it and do something like this. I was testing his propensity to do stuff in public with signs. Guess how much money I make? And we stage these actors just so we're not out there all dang day. We go out, we knock out 8 of these videos with friends, and we just get exactly what we want. Because when you create videos at scale or you're trying to batch shoot, you don't have time to just hope you get it right with strangers. And then sometimes you have strangers come up and you get gold, right? But we always make sure that we know we're going to get what we want out of taking the time to shoot, because you're busy. So guess how much money I make. Guess right and I'll give you $100. Entice people to play. So there's our anchor to where we know what we're rating for. Guess right and I'll give you $1,000. Guess right and I'll give you a 30-day free supply. And then you're edifying people. And he did it over or under $1,000 a month. People like over $1,000 a month. Ding, ding, ding. Over $10,000 a month. Ooh, over $10,000 a month. I'll guess over. Over $100,000 a month was his. And then they're like, oh man, very few jobs and people make $100,000 a month. That's crazy. And then they guessed over, they bet on him. And then he did. So they get the money and they're like, what do you do? We made sure they prompted that question. What do you do? And his next slide was, I teach people how to blah, 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 blah. Follow me at the Brian Mark, Real Brian Mark, to learn how. And it drove him a ton of followers. He has a great capture system using ManyChat and DM sales just to teach people how to do this. But the value in 5.4 million people knowing that that's what this guy does, you know how much you would have to pay for that on advertising? And it's all traceable back to him. And he's growing his profile at the same time. It's we're in such a unique time, you guys. So that's why I'm taking some time to work you guys through this, because I really hope you have a couple light bulbs that you're writing down for yourself in ways that you can spin this and make it authentic to you. This one, he's talking about investing in himself, right? So if you have $5,000 to invest, where would you put it? And then go to stocks, and he pours water over, this is cotton candy, and the cotton candy dissolves, and it says your average return investing in the stock market. Not that great. Then he pours water over 401k. If you put $5,000 in a 401k 12 months ago, here's the average return. In Bitcoin, average return. In yourself. And he just does a quick blurb about when he invested in himself, here's the average returns by doing a course or investing in yourself, starting a small business and having all the tools and resources around you. And you're just showing the average return of betting on yourself when there's systems, ecostructure, community, ecostructure. Sure. Ecosystems and structure to bet on yourself. And you're just showing the money and the logic to people in an entertaining way that they can't deny. Okay. So 90% retention in your first 6 seconds. We're showing people things that they haven't seen before, but that is wide enough to entice most of the population. Okay. Most of us, I would argue, would stop on the first 3 seconds that we designed here in each of these videos. Okay. And then we psychologically are going to funnel you into what we actually want you to know. Now, next tip, tension equals retention. I believe that suspense is what separates good creators from the best creators in the world. And look at the movies that we watch, right? I love the movie Taken. I love anything with Liam Neeson in it because I think he's a badass. But if Liam Neeson rescued his daughter from sex slavery halfway through the video, the goods happen halfway through the movie, we would stop watching. It happens at the end. Ross and Rachel don't get together for 1,000,000 seasons because we have retention. Okay, so you're going to create an itch at the top of your video that you do not scratch until the end of your video. I mean, that's the key in all of those cringe trash videos that we were making. We would set up in the first 10 seconds an itch that did not scratch until 20 minutes, however long we wanted to hold you, honestly, because the longer we held you, the more money we made. And it was like a fantastic experiment and an evolution of that game we would play as kids. I don't know where you're from. I'm from Oklahoma. And we'd be like, hey, would you eat this cockroach for $5? And this became for us like the adult version of that, where we're like, hey, would you make this really crappy video for $25,000? I think most people would say, yeah, they're going to take 3 minutes or 20 minutes of their life to make that video to put their kid through college, right? And this is the key to it. Tension equals retention. So whatever your hook is, whatever that big promise is, and combine it with a visual. 82% of people are watching without sound. So combine it with a visual up top and psychologically plant that thing that they're waiting for, and do not give it away until the end of the video. And here's what this looks like without being an asshole. So set up your first sentence that way, second sentence that way, and then you're going to back into the story, continuing high stakes so you can remind people of why this matters to them, why this is so widely applicable, and weave in your story to it. So here's where we enter suspense, and we know how important that is. So you can here's the causation of it, and as we're continuing this example, and then say you're selling these supplements of like beet pills. I don't know, I'm making stuff up. But my grandma always used to cut up beets every single night, and this would take her hours to do, right? And so, but this is how she combated the problem that you set up in your first 2 sentences, okay? But now we don't have to do that anymore. So last week on Amazon, or a couple months ago, whenever your story begins with this product, I started taking these. All right, I'm just continuing on my grandma's recipe, but I don't have to chop beets for hours and hours, okay? I don't have to have these toxic things or this time suck. Like if we're hitting on time suck being an obstacle that you would overcome in selling, I'm telling a story that edifies the product in a way that saves that, okay? But I'm making it personal, so I'm subconsciously selling. Tell your personal story that validates the belief, and then the payoff is what we're talking about now. When I found these supplements, right? Insert the solution to the problem. And then, as the speaker before me was saying, don't give them all the information. You're showing them, you proved your point, you stayed wide, you funneled them to the answer that they didn't even know they had a problem to begin with, but you're inserting this to pretty much most of the population, because I'm sure with most of the things that you're offering to people, these can serve really wide audiences, whether they're consumer goods or whether they're consumables. and probably things that could benefit most of us, right? That you really believe in. So teach me how to care in a way that's entertaining. You're playing on fear in a healthy way because you need to insert the solution here. If we're going to take the fear-based tactic, there's a bunch of different ways to go in script design. But then you can use ManyChat, comment the word pills or something else, or whatever word makes sense for you, and I'll show you where to get them. Now you're building your list at the same time. You're not giving all the information right there. You're baiting your engagement, and you get a chance to start a conversation authentically and give them the information. But instead of just giving it to them in ManyChat, I would start a conversation. What about the video resonated with you? Hey, are you here to learn more about whatever the product is? Or are you just here enjoying the content? And then they probably will say, if they commented that word, you're just getting a micro commitment out of them. I'm here to learn more about this. Awesome. Tell me about yourself. What's your story? What interested you about the video? And then that's how people are closing in the DMs. You could do this automated, but in your business, I think it's a little bit more personal touch. It goes a long way. And you can build your list. So the third point that I want to make to you, and I know that you keep hearing this, but I want to share why this matters. And I know this may seem silly coming from a girl who stages viral videos for a living or scripts viral videos for a living. So let me explain how authenticity and scripting your content coexist and why I believe this. I say authentically because right now, if you'll notice, it seems like everybody that's educating on social media is starting to look the same. Same captions, same editing style. And while there's absolutely value in not reinventing the wheel, authenticity is how you're going to find your breakthrough. And I'm going to share this story with you right now about this video because not because I think that you care where I came from, but in hopes that you guys can relate and see yourself in this story and how it applies. So real quick, when I first started making videos, I was bankrupt. Coming off of a reality show, The Voice. I had lost the rights to use my name commercially. Okay, maybe that part of the story is unreliable or unrelatable, but hang with me. I lost the rights to my name, and I'm coming off this reality show. I had a big hope in that leverage that was going to provide. I was on Team Blake, and I had signed a terrible record deal. The show was the #1 show in America at the time. All my friends are signing real record deals. They're on top of the world, where I thought that I was going to be too. But now here I am, barely able to put gas in my car. I'm filing for bankruptcy. It was my only option to get the rights to my name back at 23 years old. And that was the only leverage, like I mentioned, that I had. And my dad's dying of alcoholism. So I thought I was going to be here, ended up here. And I'm sure many of you have similar stories. And it presents such a unique opportunity to figure out where your authenticity lies and what's going to help be your breakthrough. At the time, I'm frustrated with the music industry because I'm waiting for some soup behind a desk to give me permission to be successful. Maybe at your last job, you were waiting on a raise, whatever your story is. But I think all of us in this industry, especially, can say we don't want to wait for permission. We want to be successful on our own terms because we're betting on ourselves, right? So a friend of mine, he gave me an opportunity to make videos for his meme page, and he was going to pay me $2,000 a month. And I would turn around a vertical 60-second video every day by 6 a.m. That was a ton for me. He gave me a GoPro, and it was the kind of GoPros where there was no screen on the back at the time. So I have no idea what I'm seeing. I'm having to look at it on the app on the phone, and it's all so blurry. I had to learn how to direct, light, film, come up with comedy things, and turn something around, learn how to edit and turn everything around by 6 a.m. So I had to learn. I was doing what everybody else was doing out there. Like, I'm sure you guys can resonate with that. Like, hey, this is working for this person. That's what I'm going to try. And I was doing what everybody else was doing, but I wasn't adding any real flair of my own when I was trying to learn. And everything was tanking. The videos were crap. None of it was good. Nothing came across as authentic because it wasn't, right? And then one night I'm sitting down to edit all this footage that I had shot that day. And all my footage was corrupt. All of that. I'd spent all day figuring out how to do this and writing the script and filming it and coercing my friends to be a part of it. And none of that footage was usable. And I had to turn something in at 6 a.m. I started crying, and my boyfriend at the time, we were real country. He was like, Ab, why don't you go get those chickens in the backyard and do something with them? They make you happy. And I was like, okay, well, I have no other option. So I got my chickens. I got Chick Norris, Bruce Henner, Ellen DeGeneres, Dolly Parton, Little Jimmy Chickens. And I put them all in the bathtub, and I just improv this bit where my boyfriend breaks into the bathroom, and I'm curling Bruce Jenner's hair. And then I hear the curtain. I open the shower curtain. All my chickens are in there. And that was kind of it. Like, it was a 19-second video. I turned it in and they thought it was horrible. But I thought it was pretty funny. So I just posted it on my own personal Facebook. Right. And the next morning I woke up and that video had done 19 million views overnight and gave me 100,000 followers in 24 hours. Me doing what I actually wanted to do, me doing what actually lit me up inside was these chickens. And what I thought was funny was what worked. That's what resonated. And I'm sad that it took my back against the wall to believe that, but that has been my North Star ever since. So the moral of the story is find your damn chickens. Now, how do you find your authenticity and marry it with what's going to work? You're going to find your chickens, whatever is unique to you, whatever your natural superpower is, whatever people are, the magnetic side of you that really resonates. Okay. You're going to marry that with your expertise in your industry and combine that with what the market values. Most people, they're only using 2 of these rings. Okay. But the magic is when you can combine all 3. Most people are doing something that they're really passionate about and they're marrying it with their expertise. They think it's really funny or they think it's really valuable and really important. And they're talking about their industry, but the market doesn't care. It's not entertaining anybody. The reviews are really, really low. Right. Or maybe you're talking about things that are valuable. You're talking about beauty products and how this thing is toxic and your product is not, and you're marrying it with your expertise, but it's sounding like everybody else, right? There's nothing unique about it. There's no chicken element. There's no authenticity, that natural ease that all of us have. So you're going to want to experiment. It's a little bit of spaghetti method, but once you find the magic, that's when everything changes. Okay. So I hope these were helpful. I want to leave time for Q&A because it's my favorite part, but don't be a stranger. I could talk about this all day. At Adley on Instagram, The Adley Show on TikTok. Don't be afraid to drop me a line. This has been such an honor. I'm sorry about the technical difficulties.
No. Thank you so much, Adley. That's amazing. I'm going to be totally selfish because I'm enthralled by this. So my first question is from me. Okay.
Great.
And then I've got questions as well that came in. Let's say with the chicken, what came first? Adley's intense, amazing creativity or the formula?
Definitely. I think the formula was always there and I didn't realize it until I had made a bunch of videos. So everybody has this creativity in them, even if you say that you don't. You do somewhere, you just gotta kind of uncover it. But it was after making all of these videos that we realized, like, I didn't invent this, right? We adapted it for social media, but this is timeless storytelling. And so through making probably 1,000 videos at the time, now we've made several thousand, but at probably 1,000 videos, we were like, we've got to reverse engineer how to get a hit over and over and over again. Because probably many of you have like gone viral once. And you're like, how do I do that again? And you never capture that lightning in a bottle again. And we were the same way until we started looking at all the data. And then we boiled it into this formula, but it was already there. It was just right in front of us.
Yeah. So you started watching these videos, starting to, duplicate or replicate and getting viral and starting to see, here's what's working. Here's why these are working versus these. And really kind of taking that formula and applying it now to all your creative.
Yes.
It's just fascinating. I think I've got to tell you, of all the speakers, dozens of speakers we've had on the stage, this is such an amazingly fresh, crazy, good, creative perspective that I think the audience is loving this because they haven't thought this way before. They're trying to think about how do I sell my health and wellness products, or how do I sell my beauty skincare,
Totally. And that's why I think the formula is so powerful, because it takes niche out of it, right? Because people are always like, I'm in roofing. Will this work for me? I'm like, absolutely. I haven't found a niche that it won't work in yet, because we're just talking about psychology here at the end of the day. We're talking about storytelling tactics, and you can plug and play and insert anything into a formula. And that's what's nice about it.
Amazing. One thing I just want to because I can hear the compliance officers at these companies, want to make sure we're clear. Our audience has to be very careful with money claims. Yes. Our teams have to also be very clear on how the products work and can they cure things and things like that. So, just a word of caution to always track your compliance and compliance approvals with your organization and your products. But you're really, again, you're not about the niche. You're about my other big one. I'm sorry, I'm being selfish, everyone. I've got your questions here. But this curiosity gap has really got me spinning, like my head really going. I want to put you on the spot if we can, if you don't mind.
Yes.
Curiosity gap me in the beauty category, or pick something. Just throw out this versus that. A couple of. I want the audience to understand a little bit more about this idea of matching things that don't go together. I think it's absolutely brilliant.
Yes. I think an interesting niche for everybody here to dabble in, not niche, but a vertical of storytelling would be like story times. You talk about income claims and things like that, or curing claims. You can always talk about your experience, right? Or experience of others. So you can say, story time is so hot, especially if you marry it with a visual. Say you're doing your makeup. You don't even have to be doing it very well, but you're telling a story that draws us in. And you can use ChatGPT to kind of rewrite this story and say, give me a curiosity gap. If you don't think you're that creative, use ChatGPT to say, write a story that ends like that has the end result of, I'm trying to market these beet pills. Pretend you're a marketer with 25 years experience. And I want you to write me a social media video that starts with a hook where the first 2 sentences introduce a curiosity gap, and write me a story. And you can even pull crazy stories off Reddit, right? And so think about what you like your niche of what you want to sell, and think about how to go a little bit wider. Like how I used the meat example. That's far away from the supplement that we were talking about, or toxic home goods products, right? But you're starting with a widely relatable fact that's maybe 2 steps away from where you're trying to get people, but you're trying to harp on toxicity or avoidance of bad health, right? And then if you introduce, like that was a fear-based example because it's probably the most powerful. And people have a lot of personal stories in this industry too of why did you get into this in the first place besides the money, But if you can introduce that curiosity gap, you can lean into fear, you can lean into personal experience, but people do have fear of losing something more than they want to gain something.
Right. Yeah, it's so good, Adley. It really is. Let me give you a couple questions to throw at you. Okay. So how do you decide now when there are trends out there? So how do you decide? You're a trend maker, but how do you decide what trends to follow and which ones you should jump on? Do you have any advice as far as people just following trends?
Sure. I think it's, so say you're like a supplement company, and there's a lot of trends that go around where like men can do this and women can't, that are really fun and entertaining. Like there's one going around right now where girls can do this. Like you're on your knees and your elbows, you got your hands here, and then you go hand to back, and girls can hold firm and guys fall on their face. Right. But there's a way to where, say you raise the stakes, which is another aspect of the formula. If the guy's going to fall on his face, say he's already in that compromised position and he's about to do this, and you could like slide like I would do a whipped cream pie under. So if he falls and it doesn't work, he's going to get a pie in the face. But you could use your product, not a candle, but maybe like a protein powder or something. If you're in the fitness niche and you're like, wait, and you just make something that raises the stakes. So you're introducing product placement in a proven viral idea, and you can get some messaging points in there. It's got 20 grams of protein, and I know you haven't had yours today, So
here's a way to get it. Boom, face in the.
Here's your way to get it.
That's so good. So I knew I could put you on the spot. All right. How do you balance creating content that's both personal and brand focused, like bringing the brand in? Most of our users know the traditional 500 years of marketing, which is, hey, buy my product and then hope to wake up and see a bunch of sales. So help us, because we're really, the theme of today is people buy from people. How do you kind of balance personal versus brand focus?
I notice, I do way less with the brand because I don't know about you guys. I feel like I'm allergic to pitching. Pitching feels so awkward unless it is done in a really authentic way. So really knowing your why, really knowing your story, and resonating more and attracting people to you by almost withholding it. When you're selling something and you take the check off the table, you're just like, no, it probably isn't for you. I only have 5 spots for this, 5 people I'm going to coach this month. And you almost don't let it be the option. Have you guys seen the stories where it's like, I'm looking for 5 women who want to transform their life in the next this, and you just describe your avatar to where they read that and they're like, oh my gosh, that's me, right? You're playing with scarcity and you're playing with urgency there. And you're saying, I want to help. I've only got time to really pour into 5 people. And so if this is you, message me, because I got something that I think is absolutely going to change your life the way it changed mine. And so you're being authentic because you're resonating, but you're still selling. But at the end of the day, I would say at least 70% of your content I would make personal and just have it with you all the time, to where even if you're just doing personal content with your kids, they're used to seeing you with it so that they trust you when you try to sell it. It's not like I'm just doing personal content over here and then I'm just doing product shots and business stuff. But I want to trust that if this is as powerful as you say it is in all of your content. And just even if you're just doing podcast clips, but you're stopping, taking a sip and drinking it, and then have that person ask you why, or have your kid be like, where's mine, mom? Or can we light this thing? Can I use the mop? Can I find fun
Can I put it on fire?
Yeah. Can I integrate? How do you integrate into your family and your core values? Because if I see that over time, my trust with you is just going to grow and grow and grow. And then it's a God thing too, right? The timing. Like sometimes I'll see things and I won't purchase for 6 months or a year, because I wasn't in the right spot. But as I learn to trust and love and be entertained by this person, I may be in the right spot in 6 months from now. And that's happened to me time and time again when my trust for the person grows because they're not shoving it down my throat. They're living what they're preaching. And I see that in their content.
And that's the consistency factor. They're not buying when you want them to buy. They're buying when they want to buy. So you need to continue the relationship and be consistent for sure.
Absolutely.
Those 5 things you bring up, because I see them in the industry a lot. I'm looking for 5 people who want to change their life and then, but it's key. Those 5 points have to be very personal, right? It's not the earn extra income, be part of a community, get free shipping. It's not that crap. It's you got to bring the personal into that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
What advice do you have for a newbie who wants to start making short form videos? Give me your best piece of advice for somebody just getting started.
And my question is always two part. It's like, what are we optimizing for? Like there's somebody, my whole DMs are full of, how do I start? Well, I'm like, what's your goal? I would give you a billion different starting points based on what the goal is. Knowing that the goal is to move product, I would start. I think trends honestly are a great place to start. I would start by entertaining and always going wide. And so that's a great way to do that and have the product get used. If you're not comfortable in front of the camera yet, I would start by doing that and doing more widely relatable content. So then when you start doing I wouldn't be in a rush to just start selling right off the bat. I know it's tempting, but I want to get to know you first, because if I go and I see your video, I come back to your profile and the whole thing's just trying to sell me, or I can see you're a brand new accountant that pretty much just exists to sell me something. You're not there to entertain me or add value to me. I can just see the writing on the wall. I'm like, oh man, if I follow this person, I'm just going to be sold all the time. But if I went and there were 15 posts and I clicked through a couple and I'm just like, oh man, I really like this person. I see pieces of myself in this person, or this person's aspirational. I'm learning something from them. Maybe it's mindset. Maybe it's other parts of your life that then this product supports. You see, I want to go wider with it. That way you're going to attract as many people as possible to give you a much wider base to sell to.
Think about what you want to give to the audience, not what you want to get from the audience. Bring the value to them. Last question for you. Where do you see, Sam brought up earlier stories and text and post, and, we used to keep it short, and now it's like make it super long. Like I have to sit and read for an hour, and it's all back and forth and back and forth. The same kind of chit chat goes with short form versus long form. I believe our attention span is never going to go beyond a few seconds. So where do you see the future of short form video and reels? And do you have any insights of what's next for reels?
Yes, I think it's here to stay. Short form's here to stay, but also long form's not going anywhere. Think of short form as your top of funnel. to where that's your discovery mechanism to go grab that wider audience, bring them back. And then if they like you, then they're going to go digging. They're going to go binge watching your content because of the value that you provide. Think about anybody that you guys follow. You're not following people that are just trying to sell you stuff all the time. Why do you follow the people that you follow? Because they make you laugh, or they encourage you, or, oh, they always uplift you. They give you good word, right? Why do you follow people that you follow? And then why do you want, and why is anybody going to follow you? What do you want them to say about you? Like, oh my gosh, you have to follow Scott Kramer because he's this. Fill in your blanks, because that's part of your branding too. How do you want to make people feel? And then that is the basis of your content pillars, right? It's how you want people to feel when they follow you. What value are they going to get by doing that? And I'd start by doing that design. And then the top of funnel, you're going to use that with all your short form, and then your YouTube long form when you go more in depth. Now think about it this way. If you're doing something on this beverage, all right, this energy drink, switch beverages here, this energy drink that gives you all of these benefits, right? And why it's better than its competitors. I'm going to do a really compelling short form video. And then I may say, if you're interested in doing a deep dive and watching me nerd out about all the reasons this is better than what you're drinking right now, comment the word YouTube, comment the word link, and I'm going to drop you a link to my YouTube video where I go over this point, this point, this point. 3 really compelling things. And then drive them to your long form, because there's always going to be a place for that, but it's going to be for your core audience. I just want you to widen your base so that your core audience can be as big as possible.
Amazing. And I'm going to actually dive into that kind of funnel next. So thanks for the tee up.
You got it.
Adley Kinsman, you are what a breath of fresh air to the direct selling industry and the Direct Selling Association and our member companies. You're not in this industry per se, but you're in the industry of making things work, and actually just the shining success story. And we are so honored to have you here, and thank you so much for taking the time to be with us and kind of sharing this formula and these tricks. You truly are special. I appreciate it so much.
I do too, Scott. The honor is all mine. Thank you for introducing me and trusting me to bring value to your audience. I hope you guys had a couple light bulbs go off. It was such a pleasure.
For sure. Everybody, Adley Kinsman, thank you so much.
Bye.
All right. That was so fun. I'm going to dig in. I'm going to kind of get tactical now with that when we get back. So let's all take a little stretch break, restroom break, 2 minutes, no games, no quizzes. We're just going to put up a whole thing, and we'll be back in 2 minutes. See you shortly. We got more great content. welcome to the Social Selling Show. Let's up your social media game. If you want sales, you're going to need a strategy. All right, my turn. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Scott Kramer. You just saw my hype. I'm going to spend a few minutes with you now, and I'm going to try to distill everything you've taken in today. Sam with what's working right now. Adley with the formula. I mean, wasn't that amazing? I'm going to try to package that all up for you. And then we have a headlining keynote speaker coming in to close us out in a little bit. Corey, you're going to love him. He is really going to focus on authenticity. So you want to stay with us. We've still got some great content coming your way. So I want to dive in. I'm going to go ahead and start. If you want to share my screen there, I hope to generate a few big ideas for you here, a few aha moments. I'm going to wrap up what others were saying and share some of the latest as well with you. So let's get started. First of all, just so you know a little bit about me, I believe the currency of social media is conversations. I believe if you stop talking and trying to sell so much and just focus on creating conversations with people, that is the true definition of social media. And where you're going to find more sales and more success is creating conversations. I also believe the future of content marketing is personal. If you haven't noticed, we've talked a lot about personal today, your personal formula, not leading with product all the time or integrating the product with a combo method. I mean, so many brilliant ideas that I hope you're getting from this, but I want to focus in on the algorithm. We all know the algorithm is in effect, and I wouldn't have said this word 5 years ago. I would have said that's a techie word. You don't need to hear that. But we all know that the algorithm is showing you what you want to see or what it thinks you want to see. Therefore, instead of thinking of the creepy side of the algorithm, like, wait a minute, I was looking at a bathing suit because I'm going on vacation in a few weeks for my birthday. And now all of a sudden I see ads for that bathing suit everywhere and content for that bathing suit and more posts it's everywhere. Like, didn't they know I already bought the bathing suit? So it's not the creepy side of the algorithm. I also had somebody once tell me, Scott, I'm seeing all this content about such and such and such. And I don't know why. I mean, it's not, I've never done it. I'm like, yeah, well, the algorithm begs to differ, if you know what I mean. So the algorithm is in place to basically look at the billions of images every day that go out and help decide what the algorithm feels you want to see. And it's based on your habits, your viewing, your comments, everything you do on social. If you're on Instagram, the Instagram algorithm is looking at all your behaviors, what you're looking at, who you're connecting with, where you're commenting, what you're sharing. All of those aspects play into what it shows you, what the algorithm shows you. So now I want to flip that upside down and put the algorithm to work for your business to get more people to look at your content and do business with you. First of all, let me share with you the top words that kill the algorithm and your ability to be discoverable and find new people to talk to. You're going to want to take a screenshot of this image because these are the words that are really algorithm killers. They're spammy, they're commercial, they're not really providing a lot of value. Buy, save, discount, giveaway, act now, free shipping. Now, I'm not saying you can never use these. I'm just saying when you want to create content for new people, to find new people, this is not where you're going to do it. So we're going to focus on what you can. Now, here's the big thing that changed over the last year. Sam brought it up. I think she called it unconnected distribution. And she said 26%. We're seeing it well over 30% as well in some of our tests. We call it suggested content. If you look at your feed, go to Facebook and look at your news feed, you're going to see how many of you have actually seen more and more content from people you do not know. All right. Literally content from people you don't know. Like, why am I seeing this? Well, the algorithm is suggesting it based on what the algorithm thinks you want to see, or because of the connection or commonality you have with that content. So if you've noticed, anytime you research something, you're going to start seeing more about it. It's just the reality because there's so much stuff out there. So you're going to be seeing a third of your content is coming from suggested people you don't know. So you want to be creating content that is suggestible, that is discoverable, that is algorithm favorable. And then connected content is the content of your friends. The friends, you see what your friends, people you interact with the most, you see more of them. Sponsored is the paid stuff. I believe in today's day and age, you focus on suggested and connected content strategy. Forget about sponsored. You don't need to pay for ads. Suggested is where I want to really take you. Look, I come from television. I come from entertainment. I want you to think like you're a programmer. We are all programmers. We have our networks. We have our channels, right? Let's think like a Hollywood producer. If you look at a television show, okay, or in a magazine or radio, you have editorial content and you have commercial content, right? So go look at your feed. Is your feed full of commercials? Buy this right now, 20% off. Act now, free shipping. Hurry up, new catalog out. Check it out, new products. Is it commercial or is it editorial? And when I say editorial, I stick with the letter E and I say, does it educate? Does it entertain? Or does it enlighten? I love how Adley said it. What value or how do you want somebody to feel? All right. What value are you giving? So your content strategy should include one of these three. Look at what you're posting. Does it educate? And I'm not talking educate because, yeah, I told them it was 20% off if they act by Friday. That's not what I mean. I mean, bring value to my core of your audience. I'm going to take a sip of water. Entertain is the most obvious one. Make me laugh, make me entertain. Adley she's the best at actually entertaining and making your content more entertaining. Enlighten, motivate, any of that. So are you these? That's how you can create more editorial content. In a 30-minute television show, there's 22 minutes of friends and there's 8 minutes of commercials. So that's how you want to think about it. You can actually do commercial. You can say, hey, the new catalog's out, but find a way to entertain and get me there without just slapping it on my face over and over and over and over again on your social media, right? So I'm kind of applying this to kind of button up everything you've just heard. So again, it's suggested versus connected. Suggested is where you're going to find discoverable, where the algorithm's going to go find new people to show your content to. So the more your content is educating, entertaining, or enlightening, the more the algorithm's going to suggest it to more people. Now, I love this one, and I'm going to spend a moment on this. And maybe, Rodney, you could make this one big screen for me. Make me small, because this I like to call the funnel circle. And I start at 11 o'clock just to keep you on your toes. So I start with Reels. Now, we focus a lot on Reels because Reels is the #1 form of content for the algorithm to find new people to talk to. So you're going to do Reels to discover new people. So Reels, again, is any short form video. In fact, if you just post a video on Instagram, it automatically posts as a Reel. Same on Facebook. TikTok, short form video. Okay, short form video is the #1 form of content to be discovered, to find new people to talk to. After that, it goes to your single images or what you have in your feed, okay? What you post out, because what happens is I see a reel, I see a video, I go, she's kind of interesting. I'm going to go check out her account. I'm going to click on this and see, oh, look what she's posting. She's not all salesy. She's kind of fun. Oh my gosh, I'm learning something from this. I think I'm going to follow her now. And now that I've watched your reel, I discovered you because we both like tennis, I guess, and we live in Montana. And now I go and follow your account. So now I'm following your account. Now all of a sudden I'm getting a ding saying you're going live. So now I can start to see the longer form content that Adley brought up. I can start seeing a little bit more about what you're doing, a little bit more about your business, about staying healthy or organizing my kitchen or my skincare routine or getting more energy, anything like that. My live is I can go a little deeper and build our relationship. I met you on a video. I followed you on a single image and what you're posting. I'm now getting to know you through your lives. Now, if I really want to get to know you, I'm going to start following your stories, because your stories only last for 24 hours, right? As you know, and they show up at the top. And it's a great way. It's the reason the whole 24-hour thing works is because it's a whole FOMO effect, fear of missing out. So I want to see, well, wait a minute. You're showing me a day in the life of unboxing the latest products you just received, or a story about how you've used this to now go on vacation and you're using the products or whatever it is you're doing. I'm just following your day. I mean, it could be as easy as walking the dog. It doesn't have to be selling at all. It's just, I saw a fun video you made. I followed your account. I'm learning a little bit more about you. And now I'm getting to know your story a little bit more. So you see how I'm funneling into the relationship. And now carousels I add here, because carousels is another great way to go deep. Instagram has already said, Mosseri, who runs Instagram, says that carousels is now one of the best performing pieces of content. What carousels are is basically multiple images. So up to 20 now. It used to be 10. I can put all my favorite products, my holiday gift giving, and people can just scroll with their finger and go through. You can take me off, you can take that off full screen now if you want. I'm just about finished there. Thank you, Rodney. Rodney and Ian in the background. I'm going to introduce them in a minute. They always do such a great job. So my carousels, I just scroll through on my own. You just do your finger. Now on Facebook, it's a collage, but on Instagram, it's a carousel. It's really effective to put multiple images in or tell a story. My top tips for getting more engagement. Scroll next. Number 1, scroll next. Number 2, you get what I mean? That's a carousel. Really effective, really easy to do. And then getting into a DM, a direct message, a one-to-one conversation is what you want to do. Now, I'm not talking about spammy DMs to everyone you know with the, hey, girl, you're going to love this offer. I just thought you might like it. No, I'm talking about a sincere, authentic connection, which, hey, thanks for following me. I saw you were on my live. You liked my stories, and I just wanted to know if I could answer any questions for you. When you can get into a one-on-one conversation, that's where you can start talking about opportunity, products, links, sales, all of it. So this, my friends, is my little funnel circle from 11 o'clock around on how to use the different types of content to funnel in from discoverable down to a one-on-one conversation. It's all right there. The social networks are giving it to us. Is that cool? So take a picture of that. You're going to like that. Now, let me share with you as I finish up my time, because I want to get to our other big speakers and have some fun here, although I love spending time with you as well. I want to talk about algorithm favorability. All right. How do you create content that the algorithm's going to favor and show more people? Well, first, I know you can answer that question because you're going to say, I'm going to entertain, educate, or enlighten people. But let me share with you my top 10 strategies, quick hits for getting algorithm favorability. All right. And I'm specifically talking about Reels, discoverable, top of the funnel, widest, cast the net wide, bring new people in. I'm going to share my top 10 with you. And a little bit is reinforcement of stuff you've already heard, but hook them early. Number 1, start with a strong hook. First 3 seconds. I love how Adley does 3-3-3 every 3 seconds. So your 6 seconds, you want to get 90% retention. Hook them early to grab the attention. If you're starting a Reels with, hi, I just wanted to come in here and share, I'm gone, versus I have more energy than ever and here's how. You know, the whole idea of reverse your thinking, the payoff first, the explanation second. Give me the solution to the problem and then present the problem through the solution. Okay. Because another thing that's really cool about hook 'em early is, you know, these Reels, you see them, sometimes you watch them over and over again because they naturally loop. So if you watch those where they kind of don't end it and say thank you, they roll right into the problem, solution, solution, problem, problem, solution. It's a really neat way. Hook 'em early. Think about what is your goal and get that out in the first couple of seconds. Okay, because that's going to hook them to stay in and watch the rest. All right. Forget all the fluffy stuff. Hi, I just wanted to take a moment and come on here and just no, go right in. You got 3 seconds. So what is your first hook? Think about that. Hook is highlighted. a clear message. Ensure that your reel delivers a clear and focused message. Avoid trying to pack too much into the video. By now, you want to maintain the viewer interest. So you want to have a very clear and concise, quick message. Remember, you can do reels every day. So you don't need to pack everything into one. Just create one message and keep it clear and keep it short. I love that Adley said that. There is a place for long form, but if you're trying to be discoverable and get the algorithm to favor you and show you to potential new customers, keep it concise. You can go up to 90 seconds, but I say don't. The shorter, the better, all right? And more fun. Trending audio. This is big. Using trending audio for audio clips, it almost like gives you an injection of you're going to be popular because this song is really trending right now, this audio. When you're going into Instagram or you're adding audio to a reel or a piece of content, you'll know a piece of audio is trending because you'll see the up arrow. All right. So sorry about that. I get a little dry throat. So popular audio can increase it of being featured and showing to a wider audience because people like it. So trending audio is a really great way for you to kind of inject your reel with a little bit of something that the algorithm favors. Text overlays. Adding text overlays emphasizes key points, putting a little words like great job, whatever it is, like highlight words like what I'm doing right here. I'm not putting a lot of words up here. I'm putting text overlays. So I'm highlighting what I'm talking about with a few words. That really helps because you realize a lot of people are watching without sound. So they're like this, they're like, but at least you know I'm talking about text overlays, right? So that's what I mean by adding some text, taking the time, adding text to your video. It also gives it kind of a polished look and feel. And then the other thing, as you learn and get to work with reels and doing videos and algorithm favorability, transitions also help. There's a real easy way. We do something at Multibrain we call Reel School, and we teach people how to use these different features. Using transitions in between your shots instead of just one long shot, but transitions like fading from one to the other or zooming to one to the other. It really kind of adds a professional touch, and it actually really engages the user to like be interested in watching it more. It's a transition effects really help the quality of your video. Never ever do a reel without some sort of call to action. Why am I watching this 10-second reel? I know ultimately you want me to click a link and go buy and put my credit card in and order your product, but why don't you try to get me to funnel in like check out my account for more information or follow me for great tips? Or why don't you just look at that funnel I just gave you and make a call to action like follow, share, comment, any one of those. Now you don't have to just say, please comment yes or no, because that's kind of clickbaiting. Just the call to action is asking the question. I'd love to hear what you have to think, says comment. I don't have to say comment with what you think. You don't have to be that blatant, but have a call to action. What do you want somebody to do after giving up 9-10 seconds of their life to watch your video, right? And show your personality. Always bring your own personality into it. I know this can be hard, but it really is why somebody's going to connect with you. Most of you work with companies, all of you work with companies that have incredible sales forces. What sets you apart? What makes you different? I like to call this my keywords, my top 10 passions. And what I do is I have my passion words written down. Montana, travel, dogs, tennis, health. I have my words, and that's my personality I try to bring into this. So I want to attract like-minded people. I'm not throwing a net out there to the 2.8 billion people on Facebook saying, okay, any of you want to buy my product? It's not what I'm doing. I'm showing my personality because that authenticity resonates with the audience and it encourages them to engage more and they feel a more commonality. I love how Adley really brought up authenticity of really showing your personality and showing, and Sam does it too. And you're going to hear a lot coming up about this authenticity, authenticity. Just be you, because that's what people want. Okay. Captions, this is a setting on Instagram and on Facebook where it can just close caption the content for you. And again, it's there because a lot of people watch these without sound. So you've got to keep that in mind. Captions is a great, easy way. And finally, test and learn. You do not want to be perfect. How about that? You do not want to be a perfectly produced short form video. I love that Social Media Day had some technical glitches today. It shows you we're real. It shows you, yeah, there was things happening in Australia where our first amazing guest speaker was coming from, and there were a couple of challenges. It's authentic, it's real, it's us. We didn't quit and start over and retake and make it perfect and wait, my smile's not right. No, keep it real. Just keep doing them. Test and learn. Test different styles, different types of content, different lengths. Look at what works, what's best for you, and just refine it. Again, social media is so great because it's so fast. It's not like going to live with you forever. So you can make mistakes, be amateur, be authentic, because that's the best way to be. Okay. So don't worry about if it's not perfect. We certainly weren't perfect so far today. So that's why I think we get to connect and trust each other more. Wouldn't you agree? So with that, I just want to again say our superpower, our theme, and everything we're doing with you today is about people, buy from people. It's what makes direct selling tick. It's why we work in direct selling. It's why we love the companies we work with. We love the community. We love that people buy from people. Amazon, they all wish they could be us, but this is our superpower right here. People buy from people. So I just threw a lot out at you. What did you think of that? I hope you liked it. Look, I got to tell you something, and I'll put my slides up here and just go full. So I just want you to know, no, I put me full. Thanks, Rodney. Appreciate it. I just want to let you know, Multibrand has been the force behind Social Media Day. I think this is our sixth one that we've been doing in partnership with the Direct Selling Association. And we have so much fun doing it. So we put this on as a value add to the industry, as an opportunity to get to know you, as an opportunity to bring the best in the business to help you with training and help you deal with this social media evolution and how quick it goes. So with that, we get a little bit of a commercial break because we're the main sponsor. So I hope you don't mind. It's our little bit of all this editorial. We get a little bit of sell because I'm really excited to share with you. And we're going to run a quick little video, and then we'll move right into our next speaker. But a new product from our team at Multibrand. BAM. I call it BAM, and I think you're going to love it. So we're really excited. You're the first people in the world to see it. And Rodney, roll tape.
Multibrain, the leader in social selling tools for over 12 years, is proud to introduce BAM, the ultimate app for organizing and sharing your marketing content. Keep all your texts, images, and videos in one place for easy access. Share your content anytime, anywhere with just a tap. With BAM's mobile keyboard, access directly from any app instantly. Collaborate with teams seamlessly. Create, share, and organize content together. And personalize your content with BAM's powerful creator tool. Ready to level up your social selling? Get BAM today for free. Effortless content management is just a tap away.
All right, let's keep this party going. That's BAM. Cool product. Check it out. Okay. So that was the commercial side of this. We had one commercial in the whole day. Okay. How about that? All right. Are we ready for our next speaker? Everybody thumbs up, because this one's a good one. You're going to love this guy. We have had so much fun getting to know him. And it's a really great way to kind of tee up the entire day here. So I just want to let you know, Corey Perlman is the founder and CEO of Impact Social Media. For over 15 years, he's helped clients drive real business results with the latest strategies. So he's written 3 best-selling books, a best-selling author. The latest one is Authentically Social, and he launched it this last spring. He's nationally recognized. You probably had him on your stages. He's spoken on over 500 stages in the past 10 years. When he's working, he loves fishing with his 10-year-old son and convincing his teenage daughter that he gets paid to talk about social media. Without further ado, I'm going to play his sizzle. You're going to love him. Please welcome Corey Perlman.
What if I told you you don't have to be on any social media site that doesn't make sense for your business? The biggest mistake that we see in social is that people use their social platforms as billboards and brochures. And that's the opposite of what you're trying to do. You cannot be a syndication site because you're not a site, you're a human being. And you got to put that personalized touch on those posts. So take those assets and use them, but put your own personal brand on them. But what I mean by don't be the hero in your own story is talk about your customers. That's the best way for you to show us what you're all about, is to share successes of others. So when I go to your social media, and I went to your social media, I checked it out. What I look for is what you do to talk about others instead of just yourself. The number one word we use for businesses is authentic. Be who you are. Double down on the culture, the values, and the philosophy of who you are as a brand.
Should I take it away? Thanks for having me, everybody. I certainly do appreciate it. Scott, that was amazing. It really, really was. I so enjoyed watching you. I'd never seen you present, and I know this is a different format, but I echo everything that you said, and I hope you all took copious notes. That was so good and so right on cue for what we're about to talk about here. So if you guys can let me know in the chat if you can hear me correctly, first of all, and I sound okay. And then next, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And if you, okay, thank you, Scott. And I am going to share here. So just bear with me one moment. And we will get moving. I know you all have had a wonderful day. I know your speakers. I know that they packed it full of value. And I hope to be able to anchor this as best I possibly can. So here we go. Team, just let me know when my slides pop up, and then I think we're good to go. I'm going to go ahead and play there. I may not actually be able to see the chat, so hopefully we're good to go. I think you'll let me know if we are not. First of all, everybody, I want to thank you so much for being here with us. And thank you to Scott. Thank you for the team at the Direct Selling Association for putting their trust in me and the rest of the speakers. I hope you've had a great day so far. And my promise to you is 100% value. So here we go. We're going to go fast. I'm going to keep my eye on time so I get you out the time that we promised you. And I promise to deliver some really good stuff that will really change your businesses from a social media perspective. So as Scott perfectly teed up, it's all about being your authentic self. And if we were to get cut off right now and you needed the moral of the story, the end of the story, the more you can be you, the better you will do. And just keep that in mind as we go along. What's so beautiful about how social media has morphed over the years is it's less salesy, it's less commercialized, it's less artificial, and it's more authentic, more real, and more transparent. And I think that's really good news for all of you and me as well. Again, my name's Corey. That's my handle on Instagram. I'd love to connect with you there. Definitely a two-way street. I will follow you back and watch all the good stuff that you do out there. Before we begin, as I just mentioned, would love to connect with you. LinkedIn, I'm Corey Perlman. At Instagram, Corey Perlman Speaks. And I'd love to get your feedback. So if you have anything, that you enjoyed about the presentation, please let me know. I also appreciate negative feedback as well. So for the positive, I like LinkedIn and Instagram. For the negative, if you want to go ahead and put that on MySpace, that would be great. Those of you 45 and above, I'm sure remember that reference. Those of you below, you're like, what are you talking about, dude? No problem. All right. The other thing I wanted to mention to you is the principles that I'm going to be talking to you about today are in my new book that Scott mentioned, Authentically Social. So if you like them, you hear more, feel free to pick up a copy. It's on Amazon or wherever books are sold. And that's a QR code to it as well. But these are principles that I pulled out of my book specifically to help you all. As Scott mentioned, I have done a lot in your industry before. I love your industry. I have friends in your industry. I've been in your industry in years past. So I understand it. I understand the opportunities, but I also understand the challenges as well. I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly, to be honest, in terms of those who are in the business. And so what we're going to talk about today is making sure we do all of these strategies the right way, which of course has the authentic line all the way through it. Okay, so becoming authentically social. So what I typically look for is I want you to share your whole digital story. Oftentimes what we do is we're a one-trick pony. And when I go out, I do an audit typically of all social brands that I'm going to talk to. And I did check out some of you as well. And what I typically see is it looks like it's kind of one-dimensional. It's all the same thing. And the problem with that is that can get tiring over time. So I want you to think about your social like a story, and it has multiple chapters in it. It's a whole story wrapped in your platforms, and the different chapters we'll talk about in a few minutes. Authentically social means you have a variety of content. Not only do you have different topics, but you use them in a different way. Again, I'm going to use Scott multiple times throughout this because he nailed it so well. He talked about reels and carousel posts and stories and so on, and LinkedIn newsletters and all kinds of different features within these platforms that you can use to give people a full experience of your content. You should have a cast of characters. It shouldn't just be all about you. We're all about one person, but other people can be involved in your social. And I'll talk about who those people are in a few minutes. And the last thing is, and if you want to take a picture of this, you're more than welcome to. Your social shouldn't look like a billboard or a brochure. When I go through your social, if it looks like an advertisement, you're doing it wrong. This is a different world. It's social media, social being the first word. We have to look at it differently. As again, Scott said, it's more of a conversation, less of a commercial. And so when we look at our social medias and we do our own self-audit, and I looked at your stuff, does it look more like a conversation, a two-way street, or does it look more like a commercial? And I also mentioned, by the way, that you could take a picture of my slides. I'm also going to give you the opportunity at the end to have all my slides. I know that I go fast and I know there's a lot of slides here. So I just want to let you know and relax to know that I will get you a copy of these slides at the end. I'll show you how to do that. So some of the principles I'm going to use, the first one is the first one in my book, and it was echoed by Scott as well, which is be yourself. Everyone else is taken. And the mantra, I like to have mantras in all of my principles. My digital brand, this is you saying this, my digital brand should be an authentic reflection of me or who I am. And not something that I'm phoning in. It's not a commercial. I'm not this uptight kind of different person online. I'm the same person, and either you like it or you don't. And that's the cool thing. You don't have to put on a face. You don't have to do something different. Some will like it, some won't. But as Scott said, there are sometimes hundreds, sometimes thousands of people in your industry that are competing with you. How do we differentiate ourselves versus both our colleagues and our competition? So be yourself. So I'm going to show you this slide real quick. It's got some character traits on it. This, of course, is not everything, but when I have more time, this is an exercise I typically will do with the group where I'll have them, write down some of the words that people use to describe them. So you can see some here, silly, adventurous, extroverted, witty, spontaneous, passionate, high energy, funny, genuine, maybe authentic. What are the words that people use to describe you? And I want you to write those words down. If not now, at some point before you're done with the day. What are some of the words that people use to describe you in a positive way? I want you to double down on those words. I want you to think of those words each time you're about to do a video or even a regular written post. How do you get that to come through on your social media? For example, for me, spontaneous would not be a word that people would use. I'm not very good spontaneously. That's not me. I'm more genuine, maybe authentic, maybe high energy. Those are some of the words people might use for me. What might they use for you? And I give you an example over here. It's just a friend of mine, Melissa, and we've worked with her social media over the years, and she does a great job of bringing her full self to her social, both her personal life to the extent that she wants to, and through her business life. And she is who she is. Sometimes her hair is perfect. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes she's in a perfect setting. Sometimes it's not. And she tries to bring the real person to her social, and it really works for her, and it resonates with her audience. So just something to think about. And I'm sure you've seen other examples out there as well. The second principle is beware the shiny penny syndrome. So oftentimes we are inundated with social sites that we wonder if we should use or not. Over the years, I've seen a lot come and go. I'm sure you have too. I think back to the days of Google Plus. Remember, Google created their own social network, and they were supposed to take over the world. And it actually got shut down a few years ago. God rest its soul. Other platforms, Snapchat, it was supposed to take over Instagram and kill it many years ago. And yes, it's still around for the teenagers like my teenager, but it's not really used a ton for the business world. You got X. What's happening with X? Elon Musk. We're not going there. But, there was times years before where it was a really dominant player in the field. And then for some of us, it doesn't even hit the radar. Then you have Instagram, who's, creating threads to compete with X, and so on and so forth. So there's so much going on. I could go on and on. What do we focus on? So my mantra for you on here is I will not be a jack of all social media sites, master of none, but instead I'm going to focus on a few and do them really well. I've been doing this for 15 years. I've worked with businesses and companies around the world. And the one thing I've always noticed is when businesses and people focus on a few and really plant their flag and do it well, they do better than when they try to be everywhere and they're mediocre at best. So I recommend prioritizing the platform. Now, I'm not sure you'll be able to hear this because I don't know if sound is working or not. And if it is, team, if you're able to do sound, great. If not, it's not a big deal. But quick story for you all. I was doing a presentation like this, and somebody in the audience asked a question about TikTok. And as I was answering the question, a gentleman in the room smashed his hand down on the table and scared the whole audience, including myself. It was as close to a heckler as I've ever had in my 10 years of speaking on stages. And I was like, okay, buddy, you got our attention. What's going on? And he apologized. Like, I'm sorry, Corey. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I was just frustrated. And he also screamed out loud. So again, you guys have probably seen this marmot online, but this is what the guy sounded like. I don't know if you can hear this or not. If you can't, he screamed like any gentleman might have screamed. And so I said, well, what's going on? He said, I'm just frustrated. He said, I've been on, I'm on, LinkedIn and Facebook, and what's going on with Facebook? Are we losing market share, and Instagram and Google Plus? And what about Pinterest? And there's Houzz and there's TikTok and so on and so forth. And I said, I totally understand, man. Tell me more about your business. And he said, I sell medical supplies to the elderly population. And so I took a moment, because I was collecting my thoughts after he told me that. And the audience, I could tell, was collecting their thoughts. And so he said, and I quote, Corey, do I need to be on TikTok? And the whole room turned around and screamed, no, in full on unison. I swear it happened. And the guy's like, oh, okay, and sat back in his chair. So it was a reminder to me. And my point of telling you that story is know your audience. If your audience is above the age of 35, they are predominantly not on TikTok, and Instagram's probably the platform for you. If they are super young, age 13 to 26, great, TikTok all over the place. But know your audience before you decide to dive into any certain platform. So I'm often asked, where are we seeing results for our clients? Again, some similar to you all in different industries and such. I can just tell you what I've seen over the last 15 years. The sites that have kind of bubbled up to the surface year in and year out when it comes to specifically getting engagement, and most importantly, seeing results. Actually getting the cash register to ring is what I'm looking for. Business results. And those two platforms are Instagram and LinkedIn. Now, Instagram, I do kind of glob together with Facebook because they are sister and brother. And a lot of people are leaving Facebook and they're saying, oh, you know, Mark Zuckerberg, boo you. I'm leaving Instagram or Facebook. We're going to Instagram. And as you all know, Mark's, you know, sitting back there going, ha, you know, we own that too. So it doesn't matter, right? So they're sister and brother. As Scott said, they play very well with each other. So I kind of take them hand in hand. But I think LinkedIn's a great platform for some of you. It is the business social media site. It is the only platform that most Fortune 500 companies will allow during business hours, whereas all the other ones are shut down. So, you know, there's some real Fortune 500 clients are active on social media. So there's a lot of business being out there, and it's less crowded than Instagram and TikTok. So something to think about for you all, if you're not currently active on there and you think that your audience is, say, 30 and above and professionals and probably are using LinkedIn, then that may be a great platform for you to gain some attention. Okay, so the next principle is I gave you a break on being able to limit the platforms, the profiles that you use. I do recommend that you use all of the features of each of those platforms because, as Scott mentioned, the algorithms favor the bold. So as I am you, I'll minimize my social platforms, but I'm going to maximize the latest features. So when I hear a new feature come up on any of these platforms, I'm not going to get nervous about it. I'm going to test it. I'm going to experiment. I'm going to play with it, because what happens is the algorithm, just like Scott said, favors those that try things early. You think about Reels and why we were all getting 3,000, 8,000, 12,000 views last year and the year before. It's because they're pushing it. They're competing with TikTok. And so when you do something that they want to push, they're going to show it to more people versus a static post. And the same thing goes with carousel posts and stories and whatever comes out in late 2024 and 2025 and beyond. Okay. So some examples of the platforms I just mentioned. I just said some of the ones that are on Instagram, but one of the features that we're seeing a lot of traction on LinkedIn is LinkedIn newsletters. So if you're not already doing this, this is a long form post article out on LinkedIn, and they're trying to compete with the Constant Contacts, the MailChimps. You know, they'd like to keep you on LinkedIn and let you do some of your quote unquote email marketing on LinkedIn. So when you do a LinkedIn newsletter, for example, you'll be surprised at the amount of audience engagement it gets. In fact, you've probably seen this in your email inbox, where it says, hey, Corey Perlman just did a LinkedIn newsletter. You should go check it out. And you're like, I've never gotten an email, A, from you, LinkedIn, or B, from Corey about a LinkedIn newsletter. But that's because they're pushing it. So that's why it's so great to get in early, because they're going to do kind of free advertising for you. And they also have regular articles, and LinkedIn also has carousel posts too. And they're moving into the video feed. Some of you, this is like brand new. If you go to the video, you click on a video in LinkedIn, all of a sudden now you can scroll through videos without going back. That's very new and very different than the way LinkedIn has worked in the past. What does that say to us? As Scott said, everything changes. A year ago, I would have told you to kind of deprioritize video on LinkedIn. Now I'm noticing that they're starting to head in that direction. And I'm not sure it's the best idea for LinkedIn because they were trying to separate themselves, but here we go. And video seems to be becoming the predominant media or medium of LinkedIn. The reason, I'll skip that for now. Principle number 2, or another principle for you, is take pride in your profiles. So this is when Scott mentioned earlier doing Reels early on to get more eyeballs to your stuff. When you get more eyeballs to your stuff, you want to make sure you get a good first impression. I'm as proud of my online brand as I am the products or services that I sell. If that's the case for you, great. If you worry a little bit when people come see your stuff, it's time to dust it off and fix it a bit. So let me give you a couple examples. When we do an audit, let's say, of a digital brand, we do the 3-second test. When I go to your Instagram, I look for those pinned posts, and I want to basically be able to tell who you are and what you do. Who you are and what you do in about 3 seconds. And if I can't, or you haven't utilized those 3 spots up top, that's an opportunity for you to improve. So you want to use those 3 first screens, and you can pin them on your Instagram, the 3 tiles. And as you can see on the top one, what we've done is we've created kind of a blend, and it almost looks like the same image, even though those are 3 tiles. Or you can do it separately like you see at the bottom. And then you pin them so they stay up forever. So that's one way to kind of upgrade your profile. Another way I didn't put in here too is to work on your bio. I love, again, that Scott mentioned this, but keywords in your bio is great both for LinkedIn and for Instagram, and not using some of those salesy words you talked about, but instead things that are offering the benefits of the services or products that you all provide. So, utilizing words that maybe other people might be searching for is a great thing to put in your bio in both Instagram and LinkedIn. Okay, another platform for you is, I'm just checking on time, be less like the squawking parrot and more like the wise owl. So I want you guys to imagine two birds on your shoulder. One is the squawking parrot and one is the wise owl. Now the squawking parrot, again, I preface, no offense to parrot fans out there, but for this analogy, bear with me. The squawking parrot is annoying and is just squawking in your ear. And it's frustrating and you want to get away from this bird as much as possible. The wise owl, on the other hand, is quietly sitting on your shoulder. It does talk, but every time words come out of its mouth, it's of value to you. We want to keep that bird solidly on our shoulder and never let it leave because it's helping us grow our business and enrich our lives. So I will create consistent and compelling content so I'm more like the wise owl and less like the squawking parrot. So what is a squawking parrot? Squawking parrot uses stock photos that look commercialized and inauthentic. It doesn't look like you're taking a lot of time, honestly, on your social. It looks like you're phoning it in. It's a one-trick pony, as I mentioned before. It looks very similar to the stuff that I've seen day in and day out, week in and week out. It looks literally like syndication or regurgitated content. It's salesy. It's in your face. It's what we don't like about the direct selling industry, candidly, and it's what we're trying to avoid. So how do we, as Scott mentioned earlier, indirectly share our value and let people come to us? That's what the wise owl looks like. And there's very little engagement when you're the squawking parrot. When you're the wise owl, you have multiple content of categories of content. You may have definitely some product pieces, but you also have some customer testimonials. You also have some value add rich information that will support us regardless if we buy your products or use your services. You have some light stuff that enriches us, that makes us smile. You have some behind the scenes stuff of things that are going on that maybe you're taking as, hey, this isn't all, fun and games, kind of where the sausage is made, like where I get my training from, how I learn to support you as well as I'm doing. This is the research that we do to make sure we're giving you the best products that we can out there. All that behind the scenes stuff. So it looks like a full-on story. You serve others and you seek to add value. You ask yourself, post after post after post, am I providing value or am I just selling? If the answer is selling over and over and over again, we got to switch that up. And you're met with likes, comments, shares, and hopefully conversions. At the end, we'll have some opportunity for some questions that can't come in. Please do submit those if you'd like, and Scott and I will have a brief conversation afterwards to summarize. One of my best practices on this particular principle is to have a content calendar. This keeps myself, my team, and our clients organized. We have these buckets I mentioned earlier, and then we talk to our clients. And in this case, you would sort of meet individually or maybe with your accountability group or however you meet. And you talk about the month of, say, September, October. What's coming up? Do we have some new products? Do we have a show? Is there something going on? What's happening? We got Halloween, we got fall. Should we be doing some advertising? It's seasonal. So we start talking about the month coming up and we start thinking about content ideas within those days of the week to make sure that we fill all those buckets. And then whoever's implementing, of course, it may be you or it could be somebody else, has this calendar to go off of. And all they have to do, instead of creating content every day or creating new ideas, now they're thinking about how to design this the best and get it out there. So it's super helpful to keep yourself consistent, lessen the creativity on a daily basis, which keeps you more efficient and effective. I'm actually not going to talk much about this because Scott nailed it really well, but there's 3 different areas that we use when we're creating content. You've got your attract, your nurture, and your sell. As he mentioned, reels are great for attraction. Carousels are great for nurturing. So this is people are already following you and you're really trying to educate them. That's where carousels are great. Multiple images and video that show a full, long piece of content. And then the sell could be in stories. This might be a multiple testimonials that you have up at the top, one of those circles, or you've got some sense of urgency kind of things that are happening right now, or maybe you're unleashing or unboxing a new product and you share those in stories. So this just gives you a little idea of maybe the strategy that you can use with the different features that you can play with on Instagram. Okay, a couple more for you. Don't tell me, show me. This is in some ways pretty obvious at this point, but it's important to remind you. Video will be a fundamental piece of my overall digital strategy. Video will be a fundamental piece of my overall digital strategy. So a couple of quick tips on video. Make it clearly state your point. Confidently share your message and keep it concise. Goes without saying these days. As our attention spans go down, so do our video times. 90 seconds is kind of the old school long way now at this point. It gets all the way down to 10 seconds, 5 seconds, but whatever you can do to share the value as quickly as possible is always a good thing. And Scott, I will echo his best practice. Put the good stuff, don't bury the lead. Put it at the beginning, not at the end. A couple other best practices. This is a big one for those of you who are like, man, I've loved today, but I've got a huge list of things to do. And Corey's adding more to my list. Well, think about this. When it comes to video, instead of creating new videos, capture what you're already doing. And you should write that down. Instead of creating new videos, capture what you're already doing. What's happening next week or the next 2 weeks that you could simply click record and use to either put some text on the screen, maybe it's B-roll footage, or actually watch you do what you're doing. Maybe you're doing a webinar about your products and you could just clip some of those and so you don't have to do it again. And you got your energy and you got a group and all that. So capture it, don't create it. And this was me signing some books and my wife was shooting footage of me and then put some content behind it, which happened to be pretty good content of what we're talking about today. So anyway. Let your customers do the talking. Don't forget that the most powerful thing you can possibly do on social is let others do the talking. When you have a happy customer, someone who has used your products, used your services, appreciated the support that you gave them as they launched their business, and have them share their experience online, there's nothing better. I can't tell you any better strategy than what we call UGC, user-generated content, letting them do the talking. That's a great place for stories. This was just an example. Always use captions. So 50% or more of people are watching videos with the sound off. So you want to make sure that you have the subtitles on the screen so that people can read along with while you're talking. This goes without saying nowadays, but some of us are still putting video out without the captions. You don't want to do that. Add captions wherever possible. Every other activity that you all do day in and day out. Always add reel covers. This will be huge. This is one of our clients who got over 75,000 views to one of their videos, and they hit a pain point with a lot of people, but they would have never known if I would have left this blue part off the screen, right? They do not have that many followers. So Alzheimer's and periodontal disease, what do they have in common? So adding that text to the video to tell people what you're about to talk about is ginormous and very important. Add reel covers whenever possible. Okay, make your customers the hero in your digital story. I told you earlier to have multiple cast members as part of your story. This is where it's going to be less about us, more about them. So talk about your customers. Make your customers the hero. Make your customers the hero. We are not the hero. Our customers are the hero of our digital story. When I go out on your social, I love to see people tagging you and you highlighting people that you've served and helped. Man, that is so good. Additional heroes, your community, so if you're, working at a co-working space or, you're doing a presentation for the Chamber of Commerce or whatever, highlight that. People love that. Your community will like that. Your partners, people that you're, are in your groups, your, people who your upline, your downline, all kinds of that kind of thing are important to talk about when you guys meet together, your accountability partners, anybody that you are working with in business is great to highlight on social. Your team, as I kind of just mentioned earlier, your pets. Yes, absolutely. Every once in a while, be yourself, as I mentioned. And at the end of the day, nothing gets more engagement than babies and pets. So, okay, I think we got one or two more here, and then I'm going to wrap up. The principle is never forget that you're easily forgettable. So the mantra is, I'm going to stay connected and in service to my audience until they're ready to buy from me. And the key here is, okay, we connected with them. Let's say we connected with them, September 1st, but they may not be ready to work with us until next March. So the question is, how do we stay on their radar and with them until they're ready to buy from us, even if it's a long time away, without frustrating or annoying them? So that's what we're trying to do with everything we talked about before. So I'm going to talk to you for a minute about LinkedIn. I mentioned earlier, I think it's a powerful platform. So I'm going to give you a few tips. If LinkedIn is somewhere that you want to play more in, pay very close attention to what I'm about to share with you. What I typically recommend on LinkedIn is connect, communicate, convert. So if LinkedIn's not working for you, it's because you're not connected to the right people. Let me repeat that. If LinkedIn's not working for you, it's because you didn't connect with people who can buy from you. So your goal in the next few months is every month, 10 to 15 decision makers. When I say decision makers, these are simply people who could potentially buy from you. Quality people that that maybe have never known what you do, or that love you dearly and would love to support you. Those are great. Then you need to start posting on LinkedIn. We're not going to stay top of mind if we're not posting. So 2 to 3 posts per week. And then we're going to convert by indirectly reminding people how they can work with us. So that's where those carousel posts come in, or maybe the video. And at the very end, like Scott said, don't make it too salesy, but say, hey, my goal is to help your life get better at the end of 2024 and 25 and beyond. If you want to have just a simple, quick conversation about that, no strings attached, shoot me a quick message and we'll make it happen. Try to be as authentic and honest as you can. Now, this is a big one. When you're posting to LinkedIn, the key to the algorithm is not likes, not shares, not anything else but comments. LinkedIn loves comments. LinkedIn loves conversation. So the more you can get people to comment on your stuff, the more LinkedIn will show it to more people. So write LinkedIn, write comment, and circle them. Get more comments and you will get more engagement. I promise you. And if you're not asking for people to talk or creating a conversation in the text, then you're not going to get comments. And just so you know, the dwell time that I mentioned earlier there is when people click the see more. So a like, if you're looking for a scoreboard, a like might be worth 1 point, a share might be worth 7, a comment is 12, dwell time might be about 4. And then the last part of LinkedIn, probably the biggest part, and I'm going to turn the strategy on its head. You never thought of it this way. When you go to LinkedIn, don't even worry about your profile. Don't worry about posting. Spend at least 15 minutes a day being down with OPP. If you're from the 90s, you get that reference. If you're not, don't worry about it. OPP in this game stands for other people's posts. I want you to spend 15 minutes a day going out on LinkedIn and commenting on other people's stuff. That's going to get you indirectly top of mind of these decision makers that I asked you to connect with earlier. Start engaging with them and having a conversation with them. You have no idea what this is going to do for you. Okay. So it will just get you not only more top of mind with them, but it will also scratch LinkedIn's back by creating more conversation. So the next time you go to post to your profile, they will help your algorithm game as well. LinkedIn likes conversation. So before you go post, go prime the pump by commenting on other people's stuff, then go post. It will do your content better. Hopefully that makes sense. I am going kind of quickly because I'm watching time. Last but not least on LinkedIn, be yourself at work. People always ask me, should I put the same stuff I put on Instagram on LinkedIn? Sort of, but not totally. This is buttoned up a little bit more. So I would still be yourself. I'd still be your unique self. I'd still tell stories. I'd still be personal and give away a lot of value, but I would keep it business-like. So be yourself at work. Last but not least, in the world of social, done is better than perfect. I know that perfectionism is the enemy of progress. Just like Scott said, I think that he and I should go on tour together and do this together. But I totally agree with that it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to say uhs and ahs. I've had a 10-year speaking career and I've said more uhs and ahs than I can possibly imagine. So it's not about perfectionism. It's about consistency and progress. Okay, I promised you all that I would give you my slides. Take out your phones, scan this QR code. That will get you into a very, very quick name, email address, and you will automatically get a link to all the slides you just saw. I will send you an email just to recap what I talked about. You are able to opt out if you don't want to get our once every 2 weeks e-tip that is just full of social media value, I promise. But this is the way to get the slides. So please use that QR code. Take a picture of that. I'll give you another second to do that. Scott, I'm about ready for you. So if you're getting ready, I will be ready for you in just a second. So I'll give you one more second to take a picture of that. Okay. That's the book. And again, that's my personal email address. I say that just because there may be a question that you come up with. There may be something that you forgot to ask. I'm not a love you and leave them kind of guy. If there's anything I can do to help you, that will get you directly to me. So feel free to write that down. And again, the social profiles. Boy, I really appreciate you all. I hope I didn't go too fast, but I wanted to give you as much information as I could in a short amount of time. But thank you so much. And let's have a little conversation with Scott. Scott, you there?
I'm right here. Thank you, Corey. How are you? That was great.
I'm good, man.
Yeah, I think we should go on tour. We should definitely come from the same playbook, don't we?
Yeah, we certainly do. Now, should I stop sharing?
You're fine. You're not. It's not on the screen. You can if you want, for sure.
Okay.
You see me better.
Okay. Yes, but Scott, your presentation was excellent, my friend. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yours was as well. So Mutual Admiration Club. There's some really good stuff here. You know, one thing that really resonated with me is the squawking parrot. Because, you know, one thing that I see a lot happen in this industry, and even with some of the tools that are provided to some of these direct selling companies, is this, you know, make it replicatable, make it, you know, duplicatable, make it duplicatable, do what I do, say what I say, you know, literally down to push a button and here's how you say thank you in a note. You know, I got a message yesterday that was one of those spammy, let's just click everybody in our book, that said, "Hey girl, I got a deal for you," and sent to me. I mean, so you knew it was obviously spammy. So what is your advice to a leader who is trying to make things duplicatable for her team, and maybe not down to the exact words of what to say and what to do, but how to actually turn her team, build her team into a wise owl?
Yeah, that's a great question, Scott. I definitely think if you've got a team, first of all, and this may not 100% answer your question, but I will. It's great to utilize them in a couple of ways. One is I mentioned that LinkedIn strategy earlier. It doesn't hurt to have a team that are ready to comment to get your party started, so to speak. So, you know, if you're putting a post out there and you guys have, you know, a team, if they're not commenting, why should other people comment? So I would first recommend that we're all engaging with each other's stuff, because the high tide, the rising tide rises all ships, so to speak. So that's one way. The other way would be, you know, collaboration. I think the opportunity sometimes, as you know, being kind of just ourselves on camera all the time can be a little bit monotonous and dull. So having the opportunity for a conversation like you and I are having, so maybe they work as a team, maybe they collaborate on Instagram, or maybe they just, you know, share best practices together and have a little bit of a strategy session and work, you know, as a group. But if you have the opportunity to have a team around you, I would certainly utilize the opportunity to use each other when necessary. And the last thing I'll say real quick, Scott, is if you are the leader, be a model. Show them the way. You know, if you're telling them to do video on a weekly basis and you're not doing it yourself, well, that's not a very great leader, at least in the case of this exercise. So whatever you're asking them to do, definitely be a model.
And I think it's about, you not only be a model, but it's also about like, not here's exactly what to say, but here's what you should say, something like this, more prompting around, you know, like you said, with your, you know, you have your tips there in the Wise Owl. And I love that. That really resonated well for me because I see squawking parrots all day long in this industry. So, for a leader, I think one thing to take away from what you're saying is to use to help them create their own voice, steer them that way. Don't give them the voice, help them create their voice. Would you agree?
I would also add, yes. And I would also add one other thing that you just sparked in my head, which is to have the uncomfortable conversation about what we should and shouldn't post on social. What a great opportunity for us to meet as a team and say, okay, political season's coming up. What should we do and not do? Great question. Let's talk about it. I noticed, so-and-so talked a little bit about the value that you get out of so-and-so product. Was that stepping over the line? Let's have a conversation about that. So better to communicate with each other about the things, and it will lessen the opportunity of a mistake being made.
Yeah, very, very good. Yeah, I always tell people you want to alienate 50. I did a thought piece. And by the way, I'm going to go look into newsletter. I didn't even know about that because we write these big articles. So thank you for that. I did a thought piece on the fastest way to alienate 50% of your audience. Politics, religion, anything polarizing in this day and age, which you don't want to do if you're using social for business. Okay, a couple questions for you. Let's rock through them because we're ending the day. It was great to end it with you. What's the number one tip for small businesses or entrepreneurs to become a wise owl on social media instead of the parrot? I'm scared I'm just squawking parrot repeating the same information. So they want to know just what's your advice to kind of shift into a wise owl position? I think it's your tips.
Yeah. One of the things I might do, because every industry is a little bit different. And I heard, the last speaker before you, mentioned trending audio and such. It's important to look at what is trending and kind of what's working, not only for you, but also maybe for some of your competitors and some of your colleagues. And that can be a really good insight into what you might want to be doing more of. So for example, one time, I was doing a lot of face-to-face video stuff, and my team started to notice a few months ago that the voiceover with text on the screen was doing better than me on video. And we said, okay, why don't we do more of that? We noticed that with other people, so we started doing that, and we noticed the same thing. So I might suggest to that person to keep an eye out for what you see is not only resonating with you, but working with the algorithm, why it's showing to you things of that nature, and then rinse and repeat. Don't steal their stuff, but definitely utilize the technique that they're using for social.
Yeah, that's a great one. Don't steal their stuff, but look at why is it working? And that even ties us back into Adley with that formula approach. Like try to break it apart. What made that work? Why did that do so well? I love that idea of kind of drilling into the piece of content and that strategy. LinkedIn. I mean, let's stay on this. So LinkedIn, how do you find and connect with new people that are entrepreneurs? I'm only finding people I already know. How does the friends of friends effect work with LinkedIn?
That's a great question. I would honestly take the exercise of just spending some quality time building your connections. You're going to be surprised. For example, if I go right now to Scott, your profile, I promise you are connected to at least 30 people that I truly know that I should be connected with that I'm not, for whatever reason, and so you could do that just in yourself, the person who asked that question. Go to 4 or 5 people within your sphere of influence and click on their profile and look at their connections. And you will be surprised how quickly you get to 15. You can go to, different companies. I mean, there's lots of different ways you can look at people's mutual connections, so on and so forth, that type of thing. So I would work it a little bit more, and you will start to build those connections. And I'll build off that real quick, Scott. People ask a lot, should I accept all invitations? I don't. I just went through today, right before this presentation, there's a few people here that were asking and I apologize, I don't do it daily. I accepted all of you. So anyone who says, hey, Corey, looking forward to seeing you speak, done, of course. Hey, Corey, I do a SaaS product and I'd love to show you a demo, ignore. I'm not interested in being sold or the spammy side of LinkedIn. I'm just interested in connecting with people that are looking to, build a relationship with me and not sell something, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I know that feeling. I get a lot of the recruiters. I get yes. Probably 70 of those a week. One thing I really loved that you said was taking a look at your entire profile, taking a look at what is your brand, what is your identity. That's how I took it, at least. Chicken and egg here. Do you step back and say, here's the value proposition, here's what I want to bring to my audience, therefore I'm going to mix my content strategy this way? Or do you take a look at where you are now and do you say, like I put it, you're a bunch of commercials, and what value are you bringing? How you showed some great images, you showed some great examples. Can you just step on that a little bit more, as far as how to take a step back and look at the big picture of your personal brand, your authenticity?
Yeah. So let's just say you go to your Instagram and you're not real happy with the way your grid looks. And I didn't spend too much time on that, but that's, when you go to your Instagram or somebody goes to your Instagram, they haven't been following you all along. So they're looking at your grid for the first time, like a website. It's like the homepage of your website.
Yeah.
So if it looks all like the same, then it's important to change it. And you can go back, you can remove posts, you can pin posts, you can, one thing I like to do, if you haven't done this already, is on Instagram, there's a tagged feature. And every once in a while I'll go over there and I'll click on the tagged and it'll be me at a speaking event that I haven't even really looked at, candidly. And and it's somebody who's got my book. And so that'd be a great piece for my grid. It's not me, it's a couple of people holding my book, and it's authentic. And so I may bring that in and I'll put that right inside my grid. And so we're constantly making over the grid to make sure it looks rich with content, like I mentioned, opportunity for value, and then a little bit of self-promotion mixed in. And the one other kind of funny thing I'll tell you, Scott, is I don't put my grid together, full transparency. My team does. I'm the content creator, but they are in charge of my profile. So every once in a while, I'll be at like a seminar and I'll take a goofy picture with a buddy and I'll post it on my grid. They immediately remove it. They're like, no. It's not part of the grid. You can put that on your story, Corey, but we got your grid. And so they really like to protect that, because to their point, and I've seen this before, if you stumble upon somebody's grid and there's like, you posted your dog the last 3 weeks, that's the first thing they're going to see. And if you're a speaker like me and a meeting planner is checking you out and it's a whole bunch of pictures of your dog, it's not going to correlate.
Oh my God. I've got so many dog shots.
That was not a hit dig on you, Scott.
I got to go fix this right now. I've tried to do so much. Corey, this was such great information. It was right on target with what we wanted to focus on today. You really helped drive home the people buy from people and this authenticity message. So on behalf of everybody at the Direct Selling Association, thank you so much for being here. And we certainly look forward to many, many more with you. Thank you so much, Corey.
My sincere pleasure. Thank you, Scott.
All right. Take care. All right. How was that, everybody? I think that was great. I'd love to bring Melissa Brunton back up to close this thing out. Hi, Melissa.
Hi, Scott. Wow. What an incredible 3 hours. Yeah. 3 hours. It's flown by. I looked at the clock. I can't believe it's already after 3.
It was a really, really interesting day of content. I mean, really, really like I got so much out of it, and I do this all day long.
Yeah, it was very thoughtful. One of my big takeaways is that finding your true authenticity, right? Like, we all know we need to be authentic. We all think we are, but really how you kind of drill down and get to that, it was super helpful for me.
I loved most about, and you could even see it in Corey's examples, his screens of like even his content. He's just has video of him signing a book and then puts the message on top of it. Right. So something that was kind of, not important, like I'm signing a book, but he used it for another form of content. Like, and that played into what Adley talks about with the formula, like just having fun and doing, like, it could be you taking a walk and giving a motivational message, like this idea of mixing things up. And I just loved that. I hope everybody got a good amount of inspiration out of how to create good content today.
And the great news is they can now watch on demand too. So if they didn't take good notes, they can go back and do a rewatch, right?
Yeah, we're going to go clean everything up. We're going to go polish it up. You'll get another email and a link to go to your same site We will have the entire day's content available to you in segments. So you can go straight to a speaker and look at that content, and we'll have it available to everybody. We usually take about a week to go kind of slice it up, clean it up, edit it. And then we'll have an on-demand site for everybody to go back and rewatch whenever you want. And I definitely suggest you do so.
I want to say a huge thank you to all of you who stayed with us today and participated, and then also to our amazing Multi-Brain team, Scott, Ian, Rodney, Angel. You all, you do so much, and it really shows, and this event was just what we needed today.
Why don't we, I mean, Ian, Rodney, jump in. See if they come in. We'll see if they do. These are the guys behind the scenes that make this whole thing happen. There's Ian. There's Rodney. Hey, guys, what a great job. Thank you so much. You good?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. You guys did a great job, everyone.
Well, these are the ones behind the scenes pushing the buttons, making sure to handle those technical difficulties.
The brains behind Multi-Brain.
The brains behind Multi-Brain right there. Rodney, Ian, thank you guys so much. Melissa, thank you. And everybody at the Direct Selling Association. We certainly love this partnership and doing these. It was a great day. Thank you for everything.
Well, we look forward to the next one.
Sounds great.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.